Hi, welcome. I think it's live. There's like this delay, and I'm sorry for kind of like this black screen at the beginning of things because there is this delay. Oh my gosh, I have 3 megabytes streaming today. But anyways, there is this delay in I can't go live straight from OBS, which is really annoying and I don't understand why. Unless I create the live there, maybe. I don't know. But today we have broccoli. We have broccoli stealing the show. So, welcome. We're going to, for the replay crew, we're going to get into things, or anyone who's here. We're going to get into things shortly in about like 2 minutes. I'm just getting settled. Oftentimes, for some reason, I lately don't like have a hard time getting settled. Oh my gosh, this was a weird copy paste situation. For the chat, I have to copy the link each time. Anyways, we have an interesting show today, and if something happens, that will be Mother Nature's fault because there is some. I feel like I have some. Oh, wow, that's a lot of hair. Oh my gosh, I think I'm shedding more hair than normal. But yeah, there's a front of storms, of severe thunderstorms on the way. Earlier, there was supposedly some, but um, it ended up not being, I think 2 days ago as well, it ended up not being anything. So, but if we get interrupted, that is why. I am so excited. I have like full internet. The internet went down earlier today. I wonder if that's the reason because maybe there's like less people on the internet, on the internet. But also maybe there was like a bottleneck or an issue that they fixed as a result. Man, so many things to talk about. So many things to talk about. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I almost want to leave the response, the Baldoni team, Wayfair team. Hold on, let me start recording just in case. But yeah, I almost want to leave their response to like the last thing because there's just so many other things happening, but I'm not sure how to go about it. I want to pull this out and oh, no, I don't want to maximize that. I want to minimize it. Sometimes it's that effect, when you're cracking an egg and someone's watching you, although no one's here yet, but when someone's watching you and you, instead of cracking the egg in the pan, you crack it next to the pan. So that's what's happening. Also, I would love for the display to go dark. Perfect. All right, because that was like really bright and it's been dark outside for a while. Anyways, all right. So, what to talk first? Since no one's here, I don't know what to talk about first. Um, Sorry, I had to write a quick message. How did everyone survive April Fool's Day, April 1st? There were so many. So this is more a question when people come online, but there was so many like posts and memes and things that were talking about how we don't want to be fooled this year because the world is already a horrible place. And the world is already a joke. Oh, I have like really bad heartburn. Oh, interesting. I think I know why. No, I don't know why. Anyways, all right. So, gosh, what to talk about, what to talk about. I guess I'll just since I'm waiting for the crew to get here, I'm going to get into the document. And also, so well, I'll start by kind of covering what we'll cover, and I wanted to have like a timeline, like or something, a board of the topics of the day or something. Um, but I don't know. It's really I'm getting myself together when it comes to this to the point where it's a little bit more streamlined. But um, some entertainment news, just a little minor, so to speak, little tidbits. Um, this Liberation Day, I guess supposedly. Um, me memes. What meme? Oh yeah, my thoughts on a trending meme about the chaos of the world and childhood trauma. And then Cory Booker. If you haven't seen or at least heard about it, that was history. That was amazing. And to me, it was inspirational, not only for like the political side, but just in general. So I really want to talk about that. Blake Lively. What don't we have on Blake Lively? Well, we don't have a lot, but we have the motion to dismiss response from the Wayfair Justin Baldoni side of things to the Ryan Reynolds side of things. We have Glamour magazine in Spanish in Spain. I'm going to not attempt. I know how to, I know Spanish, but I'm going to, yeah, it's been a while and my pronunciation is probably terrible. So I'm going to, yeah, attempt to read that in Spanish and English. Maybe I'll leave that as the last one and I'll leave the Spanish last because I don't, I don't know. This is a primarily English stream. But I'm excited because I get to practice my Spanish like I practice my Italian. Was it Monday? I think Monday. But yeah, that was like when I read that, came from Kjersti Flaa because she's pulled into it again, and that is just crazy. It also feels like the news just got to them from like December. That's what the little screenshot that she shared looked like. I have I was going to pull this because someone, I think was it on Lauren's live, wanted Lauren to someone to talk about the speech that Blake gave around child stuff. I don't know what words to use, and mobilization. And I remember seeing that. I don't remember anything that stood out. That was also, I believe, when Salma Hayek introduced her. So I covered that part because I thought, wow, there's like a lot in Salma's speech. There are a lot of things that pertain to what we're talking about. But as far as like Blake's speech, I guess I didn't really hear it all the way. So maybe if I get to that, probably I'll leave that for Friday because I didn't do my homework on that. And then I thought I had something else with Blake Lively. I don't even know. I think that's it actually. And then there's the Harry and Meghan. It's more about Harry, but kind of more about Meghan. And then turning into Sophie, who is Hype, welcome, who is the chair something of this charity. I don't know. It's interesting. I was watching some pieces of different news channels, I guess, covering it. It was ITV in Britain. It was, I think, This Morning or something, whatever they call it. And they had an interesting take in that. I saw some very, I don't know where it's coming from, video, like a talk show, but I think it's like a YouTube talk show. I don't know. And I probably should find it again because they had a very interesting it sounded pretty unbiased. They were like going on both sides. They kind of talked about things that they felt was right or agreed with or correct or whatever on, you know, against Harry and Meghan, and then against Sophie, and against Harry and Meghan, or one of them. Then they went after Meghan. It was interesting. But then it, like, I don't know. And I just got excited because it was, I don't know, fair, but it wasn't one, like, they weren't just attacking one person or siding with one person. They were both siding with both parties and then attacking both parties, which you don't often see. So I got excited about that. And then if I get to it, but I should get to it, this Sandra Vergara thing, it's just like, it's not a news story, um, but it's more like, I don't know what to call it. Sorry. I'm like, I don't know if this is gross. It's just hair, human hair. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's something. And then I think that's it. I think that's it. I have here Nick Viall on my like other topic list. Why did I? Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I'll just mention it quickly. Not relating to anything. I don't have a story about Nick, but I think I was searching for some. I don't even know which one of these topics, and I was thinking maybe Armie Hammer because I feel like Nick Viall's fans are his fans because of confirmation bias. That's like my 2 cents to that. Because what he says, I remember trying to watch his podcast like years ago, and what he says is often stupid. But it's often like what people are expecting to hear about men, about women, about relationships, about dynamics, and so forth. Um, and so I don't think he plays into that. I think he believes it. And that's his audience. I don't think people that are very critical thinking, that have gone to therapy or go to therapy, that like know stuff and that really believe and respect equality of genders and of like healthy relationships, I don't think they listen to him, but I may be wrong on that. So that's just my 2 cents. And then, yeah. Oh, I put Cory Booker on here twice. All right. And maybe if I get to the Oliver Stone, I'll say that the Oliver Stone situation can go easily with, I forget what. Anyways, we'll see. We'll get to things when we get to things. Um, so since you guys are here, are coming in, I'm going to start at the top with these little tidbits. Very sad news. Val Kilmer passed away yesterday, I guess. I was watching Dave Neal, and then I saw also that talk show, that random talk show that I found on Harry and Meghan. They also mentioned it. They started with it. And that is, it was 65, I think. I guess he wasn't young. This is going to sound like such a young person at the time. I mean, I was like a kid when I remember him from Batman, and I remember him from that, like, something with lions in Africa. Did it have George Clooney in that too? I don't know. It was like, I forget that movie. Yeah. May he definitely rest in peace. I mean, everyone deserves to rest in peace. I don't know why I said it that way. But, yeah, but I think Batman was really the one that I saw. And then, hi, Rabia, welcome. It's been a while. And anyone have stories about Val Kilmer? Any like favorite movie? Do you know who he is? Because yeah, but I remember like I was kind of surprised he was only 65 years old. I thought he was older because when I was little, I think, you know, that whole like it's all relative applied. I thought he was like really old when he was in Batman. He was probably like what, 20 or something, 30, I don't know. So, yeah, but I'm curious. I am so bad at doing things quickly. Val Kilmer, Batman. Also, just randomly talked about this like a few months ago that like that first Batman, the Val Kilmer Batman was like the most awesome Batman to me. Um, with I mean it had like Jim Carrey. Sorry, I'll pull this up. I don't mean to keep this to myself. What is that one? Oh, okay. Pull this one over here. Oh, I don't have the like broccoli on here. Hold on, let me get the broccoli. Who likes broccoli, by the way? Oh my gosh, so many. I love broccoli. I had broccoli. I just became broccoli. I had broccoli twice today. Sorry, I'm struggling here. um yeah, we'll talk about that, but that's not where we're at. Yeah, I love broccoli. I saw him in Batman and Ghost. I think you're thinking of Ghost in the Darkness. Yeah, that's the one that I was talking about. May he rest in peace. I stopped at Ghost because it was not capitalized. I'm like, I think that was Patrick Swayze, who they do look alike. But yeah, you meant Ghost in the Darkness. So yeah, like look at this. This was like such an awesome. You have like Jim Carrey. You have, oh gosh, I forget his name. What's his name? Tommy Lee Jones, Nicole Kidman. Chris O'Donnell was like big back then. All of them. Drew Barrymore. Yeah. And then his like last one of his last things. This is like so that I think this made it
Please.
this commercial again. I think this made it not sad, like almost like a good like full circle moment, have like a peaceful moment, but I don't know.
Oh, you look great.
Val Kilmer suiting up as
Yeah. Sorry. That was I don't know. I wanted what is going on with my screen right now? Sorry, guys. That was I think like that was like an amazing last post to make to the world. But he was battling throat cancer, and I'm not sure if that's is wait. Sorry, I am not even off my game. I'm just yeah, 65. Oh, pneumonia. I mean, I won't see pneumonia the same after the whole Puff Daddy thing, but I'm 99% sure that's not what happened with him. He it seems like he had a lot of health issues, a lot of like autoimmune probably problems. Yeah, so that's sad. That's sad. May he rest in peace. That was a decent Batman. Clooney, yes, that was also he was okay. He was okay. But this whole new Batman thing, as much as I think is a lot more true to who Batman is, these new movies, these new Batmans. What's his name? I love him as a director too. Oh my gosh. Darn it. That made Interstellar. Anyways, so these Batmans, I think are more realistic, more true, more in the spirit of Batman. But gosh, I miss the 90s. Bad nipples. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Was it? Oh gosh. Um. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, anyways, I'm not gonna pull that up, but yeah, Christopher Nolan. Thank you. Yes, I love Christopher Nolan. He scares me as a person. I don't think I would love to meet him or work with him, but I admire him. I admire his work. I think he's amazing, and I think unless we find out that he's stealing stuff, which I doubt it, but I didn't know Memento. I loved that. We saw that like when it came out, probably my family and I were really early on. And then I didn't know when Interstellar came out that was the same person. And then there was another one. What was the other thing? Anyway, this is not about like that. But yeah, I think he is probably, I have not seen one of them because then Heath Ledger passed away during the first one that he did. So I was going to see it, and then that felt a little too much for me because my cousin had just passed away the year before or something. So I don't know. It was just like a little too much. So I never ended up losing it. Christopher is a Danish singer because I forgot to put Nolan in it. Now I want to let's listen. Who I think was it? No, not Danish. Finnish people, Swedish. Oh gosh, I don't know. They have like good music. Sorry. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. It's like no, I don't like that. Okay, moving on. Not a fan of that. Okay. I like the 80s more. I was a little too young for the 80s. I was a little too young for the 80s. Yeah, anything that I've seen, what was in the 80s? What's your favorite movie, Maria? With Michael Keaton. Yeah. Him too. Side quest continues. Yeah. All right, yeah. No, let me stay on topic because we have so much. I have so much to get through. I mean, as a collective, but I don't want to speak for all of us. So yeah, rest in peace, Val Kilmer. I think that was like a beautiful moment that he got to, share with us before his passing away. Still watching Will Trent. I'm just saying that as a buffer because the next little tiny tidbit is so like trivial, and I feel like it's disrespectful to go from like Val Kilmer to that. So in the middle, Will Trent, still love it. I don't know. I'm just like, I have not seen a show or movie or something but a show that is like that has these qualities. We were talking on Monday about how it kind of resembles Monk and Psych, and it has those qualities. It's not dark. I think it was today that I started watching Suits LA just in the background because I didn't want to watch something. I had something to do, but I wanted something that was not HGTV for a change. Man, it sucks. Suits LA sucks. It is horrible. Okay, maybe not horrible. I'm hyperboling. It is not horrible, but I hate it. I don't hate it. I just have no interest in watching it. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. The acting is okay. I think it's more. I like more of the acting in Suits LA than the acting in Will Trent. But like I said, I don't know if that's the editing. I don't know what's going on there. But Suits LA sucks. Sucks. So I don't know. I tried it. I gave it a chance because I loved the original. It's just like not funny. It's not cutting edge. It doesn't have a personality. It's just bland. It's just there. And they're dragging this one lawsuit forever and, cool, whatever. But it's not even that interesting. I don't know. It's just not, it sucks. I don't know. I can't find better words. Stephen Amell, yeah, is dry as an actor sometimes. Yeah, he does not, I don't feel like he fits this role because he's too much himself, if that makes sense. Like, I think he was great on Arrow, and I think, like, he has a specific type of role that he should stick to because he's not, I think, versatile, or maybe he is versatile, but that's not what they are getting from him. I don't know, but it's not just him. I think him. I think it's really hard to make the show work with him because he is such a big presence for I don't even know what reason. I just saw Arrow, so it's not like he's been like this huge movie star, but I know he's been in other things. I just haven't seen them. Um, Yeah, his range is limited. Yeah, he gives nothing. Yeah, but I like how you said dry because there was a scene where he was like trying to make it a funny scene of like him trying to, spoiler alert, trying to like get the courage up to propose to his girlfriend, I guess. And it was just excruciating, but it was dry humor and with a dry personality. And it's not like, maybe like as a real person, he's like fine, but yeah, but again, that's not even the biggest problem with the show. I just think the show sucks. I think they could do it without um whether or not he's in there, if they really did a good job, but they didn't do a good job. And the reason I bring that up too is because Will Trent is so much, like I was talking, brighter than this freaking, and it's in Georgia, it's in Atlanta, Georgia, than this freaking LA based supposedly story where everything's dark. And that's why, like, if you took Stephen Amell and Amell, I don't know. If you took him and put him in a very bright setting, maybe it would like counter, having this like flashback and just seeing Arrow all the time or just seeing him as a person all the time. Um, like I do Meisner, and the whole Meisner thing is like being yourself in these circumstances. I'll say that some people need to actually act as someone other than themselves, because sometimes who they are don't, it's not, there's no X factor. There's like something missing. Um but yeah, anyways, I don't know. So Will Trent, highly recommend. It has like drama, it has crime, like real like feeling crime. It's like it has its action moments. It has, I mean, the Ramon Rodriguez, the main actor, he had such an awesome episode, this last episode that I saw, um about like, because he wasn't adopted, well, I don't know, but he went through like the system of adoption. And he found out that someone was withholding something his whole life basically, and all this stuff. And like he was so good, he was so good, man. And then also like the show, again, the acting sucks, or editing of the other actors, or some, if he's that good, it has to be the actors themselves that are not that good. I don't know, but maybe not. But it has comedy, it has like humor, it has love story. That's where I'm going back to, crazily enough, because I'm not into love stories right now. But it's nice. It's nice. It just makes you feel fulfilled. Suits LA sucks. Anyways, so um yeah, we derailed on the last live. Yeah, we derailed a lot on Monday. It was fun. I was watching it back, and I'm saying way too much. I'm so sorry. I have to excuse that, or not excuse that. Say sorry about that, or whatever. I say way too much. I almost said it again. It's so hard not to. Man, I just want to keep saying it. It's like a great transition word, but it's not at all. And it's not a word. He mentioned Beyonce and stirred up the beehive. Who mentioned Beyonce? He wasn't bad on the eyes in Arrow. Stephen Amell mentioned Beyonce. I remember him saying stupid stuff. He got canceled. I don't know. He doesn't strike me. He doesn't come off as like a nice guy, but I don't know him. I don't know. Either way, like just the whole show sucks. He's also a scab. I don't know what that means. Moving on. My other piece of tiny little side note thing. Talk about like dramatic shows. I was covering, and I'll cover. I just haven't even watched it. I don't know why, but I'll cover 90 Days again. I don't know, later this week. But on I was watching Beverly Hills, Housewives of Beverly Hills. Talk about dramatic and stupid, kind of, or like pointless and over dramatic and like too much drama. That yes, that show, sometimes I don't know why I watch it. I felt really bad. I think it's interesting as far as I don't think it's as interesting as 90 Days because it's not that it's more manufactured, but these women have to make things work sometimes when it just doesn't work, or they are not making it work genuinely sometimes, and they just kind of brush things under the rug. I was watching the whatever, when they like reunion, when they meet up, and I felt bad for Garcelle. If you watch it, if you whoever watches it on here live or on replay, and I almost said again, and I'm kind of surprised that I felt bad because in the past I felt her comments often were instigating or not very fair or compassionate or empathetic. They were quite judgmental or whatever. At the same time, I think the way that people, and maybe that's why a number of them just kind of got together and went at her at once. It felt like she was truly ganged up on at the reunion, and I just felt for her because you could see her hurting, and these were supposed to be her friends, and if you don't pick up on that, I just did like a questionnaire for a job that later I found out that they don't have the budget for anymore, so never mind on that. But one of the questions was, can you, or it was one of those like agree, disagree, strongly agree, whatever. And the question or the statement was, I can easily identify someone's emotions or something by looking them, or I'd forget, I don't know, something like this. And I'm like, yeah, these women did not. And I understand when you have this like resentment and it becomes like an agenda, but I don't know. I felt bad. Was it fair? I don't know. I feel like it's hard for me to say that. So I just wanted to say that. I don't know. Didn't feel like it was fair, but I don't know. Little side note again, until we get to the big stories like the motion to dismiss stuff, and well, that's like the biggest one, and the article. And I'll do the article first, honestly, because oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know which one. I think that one's going to be faster. I don't know. But I heard that today's Liberation Day, apparently. That's what we're calling it. And if that's true, I feel like it's the opposite. Because apparently that's what we're calling setting tariffs. So it made me think of one, it made me feel claustrophobic in this country, made me feel like trapped here, in a weird way. And then the other part, it felt like we're getting isolated from the world and trying to have the world hate us and isolate us, like the American people. And I think there's a lot of unified sentiment across the world of people like understanding the difference between the American people and the current government and what they're doing. But I don't know if everyone feels that way and understands that. And not every, like, you don't know what American person you're getting when they're abroad. Most likely, if they're abroad, they're not, they're like friendly with the abroad. But I feel like that's, in that narcissistic handbook tactic is literally isolating you from others and others from you so they can just like tell you what to believe, what to think, and, the reality they want you to have so they can control you. So that's what it feels like more. It does not feel like liberation. We are going to get higher prices. We're going to pay for these tariffs because the other people are like, okay, we'll just trade with other people. I mean, I know it's not that easy, but we're going to feel it a lot. So how is this liberating us? And then we're going backwards. We're not advancing. So again, how is it liberating? Like back in the independence, what is it? What was that? What is it? Oh gosh. Declaration of Independence. um, they were advancing. They were not wanting to get pulled back by an anchor. This is the opposite. So, anyways, just those were my two thoughts. And with that, I am not a sponsor. I don't have a sponsor. I'm not sponsored, but I do have an affiliate link that's like exciting to have, that I was kind of granted or whatever. And it's to Ground.News, which you probably heard if you watch Kjersti or if you watch behavioral arts. That's who I got it from. The guy that, talks about, hi, Dr. A. Angel. But yeah, they talked about Ground.News. So I already have it in the description of this video. But yes, it is an affiliate link. It'll give you 40% to their top tier subscription. And I've shared with you before, and I was like, I don't have the thing yet. I don't have the affiliate link yet. But here it is. I've not used it too much, to be honest. Japan's Nikkei tumbles more than 4% on Trump's tariffs. Okay. This is just. Anyway, so it shows you where the publication, the article is leaning, where there's like bias, etc., etc. It is complicated. I need to watch their kind of introduction. It's nice to get this introduction for the affiliate link, because maybe we should watch it together because it's so complicated. But basically, yeah, you can kind of like search for something, and then you can also search by like particular bias. You can, I don't know, there's like so much to this. This is again, this is not a sponsor, this is not a commercial, this is just like, here, check this affiliate out. So I don't even know what I'm getting, if I'm getting anything. I'm so terrible at self-promotion, especially. Guilty plea and bribe of feeding our future juror. Okay. Anyways, okay. And then, like, let's see. Hold on. Which one freezes funds to Maine? Let's try this one. So it gives you also like the different articles or different platforms that covered it and where they're leaning, and you can, I guess, click on them and it takes you to the article. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. It also describes in somewhere. Somewhere when you sign up. I remember when I signed up. Oh yeah, there you go. It kind of describes how they rate the bias. I mean, they did not, I don't feel like they left one stone unturned. This has become, they should sponsor me at this point. I mean, I don't know the difference between an affiliate link and sponsorship, but yeah, they I should just make a commercial for this because I'm going into it. But yeah, because we're talking about I'm talking about a little bit of politics. So yeah, wherever you lean, wherever you are, you can use that no matter which way where you are on the spectrum. So yeah, that's cool. And then since I talked about that, let me cover this whole meme. There's a meme trend that says basically something like, when the world is burning all around you, but you grew up in a chaotic home, or you have childhood trauma or whatever. And then the person is like dancing or relaxing, whatever, as the world is burning. I said, depends on at which stage you are in, like, denial, because I will say that if you have past trauma, you're more likely to be overwhelmed and freeze or shut down, go under a rock, freak out, but not so much freak out. I just think like you kind of you shut down, you desensitized because you're desensitized. So I just had an issue with those memes. Every time they come up, I'm like, what are they talking about? No, this is so false. What? And also, it just promotes really bad stuff. Or like I'm a millennial, so I've been through all of these things, so this is not a big deal. Watch Paradise. It comes up again. Watch Paradise. If that's like your take on it, that, oh, this is just like one other thing, watch Paradise, because that's what this one man said in there, as everyone else knew, or, we knew that the world was ending. And they're like, oh, yeah, I've been here for so many years. Yeah, watch it. That's in the last episode, I believe. Anyways, Cory Booker. Why does when I say that name, why does it sound so weird? My accent. Um I'll start with this moment. I need to open show full screen, view original. I'll start with this moment that I guess an hour ago he posted, and I just took a screenshot to like talk about, but yeah. This is a moral moment. It is not left or right. It is right or wrong, which you could also argue that left and right kind of dictate right and wrong. But I don't think so. And you can also argue that he may not have made like the best sense with what he did, because not everyone is able to understand politics. I know most of the things I didn't. It just kind of flew over my head. However, he definitely made the news, and he definitely did something that was grabbing our attention and inspiring. I think it should be inspirational no matter in what and for whom. I think it's on a good side, but yeah. And then he also, I think it was a paraphrase or a quote. I think it was John Lewis. I wrote it down as he was talking, so I think so, because he talked a lot about John Lewis at that time. Every one of us needs mercy, because I think he was talking about how, yeah, the man who beat John Lewis showed up with his son or something one day and asked, I apologized or asked for forgiveness or whatever. And John Lewis, I guess, gave it. And Cory Booker's like, what? And John Lewis, like, every one of us needs mercy. And I thought that was like a really poignant moment where sometimes these words come out. I wish they would come out. I wish even simple words would come out when I'm, left wordless. But yeah, I think that is a great sentiment to have. That's where I kind of come from with the whole Blake Lively thing. However, consequences also, I believe in consequences. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think they both can exist. And yeah. I love the heart logo. Thank you. Thank you. I was trying so hard not to say but I couldn't. So, he mentioned the Baha'i. He was talking, I think it was at the end, and he was kind of saying whether you're this or that or whatever. But yeah, he mentioned the Baha'i faith. So if you haven't heard or seen any of this, he was, and I'm sorry for incorrectly like labeling things, because it's been a while since I've understood politics. It's been since 2016. So I apologize for any like wrong terms. I will correct them Friday if so. But I think, and I say that because people say it was a filibuster. Some people say no, it wasn't. Either way, he made history by going for 25 hours. The historical record was 24 hours by, I think, Thornton something. And wait, I have it here. Hold on. I'm trying too hard. So, share my screen. So, yeah, Strom, which I think is like apparently impossible for me with my accent to say, but I think reading it is a really cool name. Thurmond. Okay. Had a 24-hour filibuster, and then I think it was him or someone who was saying like prepping for something like this, like they went to the sauna, they dehydrated themselves, so because they can't go to the bathroom, they can't sit, or else that just like ends their filibustering. Anyone think of Parks and Rec to this? I have not watched that show a lot, but the few episodes that I did watch, one of them was about something like this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forget her name, Amy Poehler's character, but she did it, and I'm like, this is happening. So, um, maybe Rand Paul maybe did the sauna thing. I don't know, but anyways, so yeah, Cory Booker was 25 hours on the Senate floor. He would have to, excuse me, he would have to have this phrase, I will yield to a question while retaining the floor specifically, because towards the end, he started reading from the paper. I didn't see all of it. I didn't know it was happening. Probably, I didn't even sleep that night barely, so I probably would have watched the whole thing. But yeah, I didn't watch it. I didn't know about it until like 11 or noon the next day, and I saw most of it. But yeah, he probably was like tired and didn't trust himself, his like ability to say that specific phrase. But let's see what this is. I think this is
A brilliant water scientist from Japan.
Shush.
With dignity because they have access to Medicaid and allowing their.
Okay, this is just another clip. Where did I get that from? I don't know. I will have the link of the whole thing. It kind of came in two parts from his own channel. It was there. Yeah, so it's like this is what the first 5 hours and then 11 hours. And then they have like clips.
Thank you, Senator Booker, and thank you for coming to the floor tonight and speaking up. I have a few.
So people would come in and ask questions, and I'm sorry if you already know this. I'm just in case, I'm just covering the basics. But yeah, he would come. He would have these people, the different people, come on and talk, ask questions, but like long-winded questions, like a winding road to the question. They had things to say, and the questions were honestly really basic and underwhelming because I think it was more like presenting a point that he could go off from or not. I don't know. So it was like pretty cool. Did a good job, yeah. I just was so. I wish that I had this. It might be somewhere where he got so impassioned, and it was just such a beautiful moment to see. Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss. In quotes, I do not recall ever seeing this level of petrochemical extraction in our country's history. And until he started rolling back what we were doing on wind and solar, partisan moment, it is a moral moment.
Oh, there you go.
This is not a left or right moment, it is a right or wrong moment. We have a president that is shredding the very agencies that Americans who are struggling are relying on. Working people that over the last 71 days are finding higher prices, that are finding housing prices going up. Farmers in my state too, it's our fourth largest industry. I've had farmers who'll come to me as far away as Texas and tell me that they're clawing back these contracts that we've already relied on to buy things already, and now you're putting me in a situation where I might lose my farm.
Anyways, so watch that. I think this is kind of the play, or I don't know, one of the moments. They got so impassioned at one point, and I don't know. It was just like a beautiful thing to see and to be a part of as far as like history. And again, honestly, but this is my opinion, and it's just how I think. It was regardless of which side you're on, kind of thing. I know sometimes we say that, and it's like, yeah, but not really. I really think. Sorry, I'm like, that whole line is bothering me. I really do think that. I really do think that. Again, and it's not just for politics. It was to me inspirational as far as like reigniting that passion for whatever you believe in, for whatever you feel like you fought for once, but you gave up because it's just overwhelming. Or maybe you never fought for anything because you never felt like you could succeed in that, or that it was safe to, or whatever. But again, that passion, it was just, I don't know, inspiring and moving. And we are, I think, in such deep need of this. The last time I felt this way, and I think Trump supporters felt this way with Trump, and I personally felt this way last time with, because it's hard to follow Trump. But I felt with Kamala when she came for that first speech that she had. It was the first moment, and I don't know too much about her. I don't know if I would have supported her if otherwise, but she had that passion. She had that like speech about it just came from a good place, from, again, from growth, from advancement, from evolution, like evolving towards something. From he talks a bit, I think it was like I don't know if it was a clip or a meme or something, about like leaders inspire other people to lead. They're not saying just follow me, just do what I tell you to do, just look up to me, just, be my minion, kind of thing. And they inspire people to their own strength. They don't weaken people. And that's kind of what it felt like when I was watching her speech and him. And then the last time, honestly, I think it was like Obama. And before that, I was too young, or there was no one that was very inspirational, very bold. Bernie Sanders also. I was a Bernie fan. I did vote for him the first time, and then he didn't win. That was like controversial. But yeah, but again, like, I think also that is a huge reason why Trump won. People say a lot like, oh, it was because of people believing exactly what he's selling. And I don't think that's everyone that voted for him. I think even in that, I think people voted for him because he was bold enough to say things a certain way and to be bold. And he didn't care. And I mean, and honestly, in honesty, oftentimes I think we see that when you have something to lose, you will not win. When you don't have anything to lose and you're bold enough to think that there's nothing, I can't lose, and you're bold enough to just fight, and you know that you won't give up until you win, then you win. And I think that's what, the Democratic side needs. I do would love to see a non two-party system. We need to get a little bit more parties in here. We need to get a little bit more like voting for the right person rather than for the party and the whole like stuff around that. Which, I was not of voting age when I was in Romania, so I don't know how, how um that feels. But I know in Europe they have like 7 people, 11 people that you're supposed to vote for. And then it goes down to 2. But I think we all need regardless what party, we need passion, and we need passion for good. We need passion for, like, for goodness, for good, for love and peace. And there was also another quote that I saw today talking about when, oh gosh, my brain just kind of died. It's literally running away from me, this thought. Anyways, but yeah. So I also said something else here. Oh yeah, you may look at this as trivial or as like not enough or whatever, but I think we need to not underestimate that emotion drives us all. None of us make decisions based on, we're not robots. We don't make like decisions that are based on facts, really. We make decisions based on emotion. This is a fact that I had to kind of come to terms with. But it's in psychology. We are driven by what we need, what we want. We are very selfish people. We're very selfish creatures, and not just us, but it's all about survival and so forth. So emotion drives our mind. Our mind doesn't really drive our emotions. It can alter our emotions, what we perceive, what we ingest, but it's ultimately like our emotions make us make decisions. If that makes any sense. Probably doesn't make sense, or I'm not making the right sense. So I think this was a moment where he invoked emotions in people, whichever side you're on. But especially if you're someone that was watching him throughout the whole thing, like you felt, at least at some points, you felt the meaning. The other part that I don't know that I wrote it here. Actually, I think I wrote it on my Instagram, that this is also such a good moment to see someone who stands for other people and not so much for themselves. There's this idea in some people's minds that everyone's out for themselves, that in politics, no one's there for the people, for the right cause. And I think on both sides, on all sides, yes, those people exist. We elected the ultimate person that only is concerned with himself. That is something that is factual. That is not something that is, a dig at him or anything. That is just how it is. And I believe that it comes from a very hurt place inside, that he's just trying to find love and safety. But regardless, it's very destructive when you get to that. And it's not true that everyone is like that. I think I don't think I met him, but I saw him from the balcony when he came to my university a while ago, Cory Booker. And he moved me just the same back then. And I wonder if he would have ran for president if he would have won. I don't know. Because again, I think like what Bernie has too is that passion, and you can see that they're really talking for other people. It's not for their personal gain. It's not for their personal win. And I think we need that so much to be reminded of that. I think this kind of reminded us of that, if we let it in to remind us, if we're not, just confirmation biasing over here. But yeah, and then how much power we have that we give away. He mentioned this too. And I think what I kind of walked away with was what a force we would be as people if we would come together. And it's so like interesting to me, this idea of making it difficult or working against uniting people. that is always going to be about like having power over people and not having the best interest for the people. But I think it's so interesting. We're in 2025 and America can't get together. It's actually maybe more divided than ever. I don't know. I have not lived that long to know. I'm not immortal. Um, but yeah, like I imagine like if we all like I used to imagine this at my jobs, like if everyone would stand up, everyone would complain about the same things, but no one would go on strike, would stand up, and everyone is afraid of losing their jobs and everyone is afraid of losing something. And oh my gosh, I'm getting deja vu. I think I said this before. If we would actually, stand together, and I'm talking about standing together, not just these little tiny strikes and these little tiny, protests. I'm talking about like as many people who believe in the same thing in this country and in the world to stand together. And I'm talking about the people that believe in like love and goodness, regardless of your political party affiliation and all that stuff. And go back to what are we actually fighting for? What are we actually fighting other people for? What are we actually wanting? It's to be safe, it's to be happy, and to those things, it kind of can look differently to everyone, but ultimately I think it's also interesting like how that gets developed. But anyways, I'm like so going down the rabbit hole with this. But yeah, this is a very long paragraph over here. I don't know what that is. I always think of that though. I always think of the power we have together, and that I just feel is completely missing in this country. I hear about the protests, I see it on the news, I see them on the news, and they just disappear. I remember actually being in Nordstrom and someone was talking about the frustration that she felt with Black Lives Matter, how everything went back to normal. Like all that pain and all that effort and all that change that it was like kind of on the precipice of, everything just went back to being complacent. And I'm like, yeah, that's America. And I think not just America, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe because countries are smaller in Europe, I feel like people like when they protest more, more like strongly. I think there's like a lot more fear here. And in Europe, I feel like there's a lot more fear of companies and etc. to lose employees. Not always, not, I don't know, maybe ebbs and flows with economy, how the economy is, but that's just like my kind of like opinion, I guess, or perception. And I also noted that it almost feels like this could be, I feel like this is the start of a modern type of revolution where it's not people getting their pitchforks and going, to revolt against a government or a leader or so forth, or guns in the case in Romania. And, but it's this like, I and I hope I'm not wrong on this, but I feel like people all around, it's just like kind of attacking everything and everyone. So like the more you pressure cook people, the more they will like be like, no, never mind. I don't want this. And I think this like modern revolution that I was like feeling with this, it's like it feels a little bit like just the sentiment of we've had enough that has been building. That's the reason Trump was elected, because people have had enough of something. Not everyone agrees on what that thing is, or I think we would all agree on that thing, but we're expressing it differently. and we're choosing different representation for it. But one thing's for sure is that everyone's had enough of something. And so that's what I'm talking about as like a modern revolution. It's not even against this particular government or this particular president or whatever. It's like against ironically against what's been the same, and the lack of change, of growing enough fast enough. Ironically, because the whole make America great again, like going in the past and so forth. But yeah, anyways, he also talked about, and this I'll say the last thing, he also talked about John McCain, and I didn't know this. Also that JD Vance apparently said professors are the enemy. I'm like, okay, so we're going back to the time where the church prevented people from learning to read so they could control the people. Okay. I said, are you freaking kidding me? Anyways, a senator also wearing a tie for those like that signed the independence, the Declaration of Independence, saying how ironic that, now people don't even want to put their jobs on the line and those people put their lives on the line. And I was like, well, I feel like, I know personally I'm afraid of putting my life on the line every time that I speak up about this. And it's very frustrating that Americans don't get that feeling. Like, they don't believe that's possible. I think I was saying it to my friend earlier or something, like, America can fall. America is not infallible. Is infallible the word? Like, it's not indestructible. It can be destroyed. It is being destroyed. So, like, America can fall. Every American, that whole thing that people keep talking about, like, first they come for this group of people and you do nothing, and then they come for this other group of people and you do nothing, and then they come for you because it'll never stop. It's kind of like that, and it is kind of surprising. It is kind of surprising that people don't feel that a lot of times, but a lot of people do, because that is floating out there. But this John McCain thing was really cool, and actually, I'm going to pull up the video. I did watch it because I was like,
e-file is
oh shoot, are we supposed to do our taxes this weekend? By this weekend? I don't understand why they can't. Like, why do we have to file for taxes? Why can't they just get it right the first time? I don't understand this. I don't understand this. I feel like this doesn't make any sense. Just, we're already paying taxes. Instead of like, oh, well, we discovered that we owe you, the government owes you, or, oh, you owe the government. Well, get it right when you're calculating it in the first place. Why put us through this? I feel like I'm always going to mess it up. I'm waiting for the IRS to tell me, like, hey, you actually, like, wrongly messed this up, because I'm doing my own, because I can't afford to pay. I can't even afford to pay, like, pro turbo tax or whatever. So, like, yeah. Anyways, I don't know if you're laughing. I'm guessing you're laughing at the taxes comment. So this was, like, really cool, and I didn't know this, but this is what we need to go back to, and we don't need to go back to this time, but we need to go back to, like, humanity. I don't know. This was, like, really great.
A person that you do not,
Such as errors.
I have to tell you, he is a decent person, and a person that you do not have to be scared as President of the United States. Now,
This was about Obama.
Now look, I
got to ask you a question. I do not believe in, I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not.
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about. He's not. Thank you.
I don't understand why we can't do that. I don't understand why we can't do that. I'm sorry, but I feel like this should be replayed over and over again all the time. Like, why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? And I'm not even talking about politicians. When do we do that with each other? When we talk about politics or anything? No one likes to admit they were wrong anymore. Or that, hey, like, we disagree, but you're a great human being. Yeah. Anyway, so that was like something I definitely wanted to share. And then I'm moving on from this topic, but that was like really cool to me. And I was too young, I guess. I mean, I voted. I was old enough, but I definitely didn't watch this. It was interesting also that he got booed by his own followers or the people that were going to, vote for him or want to vote for him. And I imagine that what I was thinking about this lady was the way that she was talking. Like, she probably voted for Trump if she's still alive because she looked pretty old. Yeah, he was a decent man. Yeah. And apparently Trump said that he was a coward or something. Like, he wasn't honorable or something like that. Because we're divided, hardly anyone can agree to disagree. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just so fascinated about, like, how we're here. I feel like there's just so much, I don't know, it's just like fascinating because I think everyone's like kind of pointing fingers and that almost saying like, oh, Trump is like manipulating people if you're against him, and if you're for him, like he's speaking the truth and all. But it's not Trump. We're not here because of him. He's just like Obama, it's not because of him. Like, they're the symptoms of what is happening already. And so it's interesting. I hope that what's happening right now is what that one guy was saying that happens in biology, and I've talked about it and I forget the name of it, but when you get sick and the virus, like you kind of like, it dies down, you're fighting it through fever and blah, blah, it dies down, and then it like spikes up the fever again and you're like sick again that last day, that last like, oh, we want to survive, the virus, and then the next day you're like, wow, I don't even remember being sick. That would be great to wake up one day and then suddenly like we're in like a really much better world. I don't know if it'll happen that fast like that, but it could. I don't know. He was a war hero. Yeah. To me, those are not, war and hero, I don't feel like go hand in hand to me. I am definitely not pro-war. I understand at this time in humanity, it's sometimes inevitable. I just don't agree with it. I don't feel like I don't think war is honorable, but not because the people that fight in the war. I think the people that fight in the world can be honorable and all that stuff, but like the instigating of the war and that part, I don't think is honorable, if that makes sense. All right, well, on to like less crazy heavy, dividing topics. Like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds against Wayfair and Justin Baldoni. Oh boy. I will start with this clip that I saw on, let me kind of close out of these things, that I saw on Dave Neal's podcast or show, whatever. And because I thought, what a despicable thing. What a despicable thing. There's just, again, so much. The motion to dismiss response. I saw a little bit from Lauren last night. Everyone's like covered it today. So I almost feel like letting it breathe a little bit. I have not watched anyone in full covering it. I just watched Lauren's last night a little bit. And honestly, I feel so bad because I get so excited to talk to people that I oftentimes not tune her out on purpose, but I end up like, oh my gosh, I haven't been listening to anything that she's been reading. I feel so bad. I used to just go on there. Like when I'm on chats, I can't multitask. And so I'm like, maybe I should just like stay off the chat. Like there was one other person from there that's like, okay, I have to get off the chat, just listen to it. So yeah, but anyways, so apparently I don't remember this, or maybe because I didn't read the amended complaint. It's just so hard. I should, but it's just so triggering. But apparently, Blake Lively's one allegation was that Justin and Jamey Heath were passing a woman around, and you probably have seen this on Dave's channel or someone's. Where do I put myself? I'll go here. So this was the story. This is just so crazy.
She and I met real quickly. Justin Baldoni's met her first at a club. She was dancing, salsa dancing, professional dancer. He then was like captivated by her person. They ended up talking. It wasn't a hit on. They went out to coffee. And then Justin basically, instead of saying, hey, what's your number? Let's hang out. It was more like, hey, I've got a group of people that are getting together talking about elevated concepts, spirituality, how to be better, how to serve humanity. There's a group of women that are talking about this kind of thing. Would you be interested in like, and she was like, whoa, who are you? Like, you're not trying to like, what are you? Then she started coming around, and then she and I met shortly after. I like to tell the story that she hit on me, but she didn't. That she cornered me and was like, please take me out, take me out, take me out. And I was like, that didn't happen.
And that's
fast forward,
Natasha.
we're becoming friends. We're doing these exercises where you kind of like look in each other's eyes for like as long as you can without blinking and like, you gotta go, whatever, all that stuff. And we are partnered up to do this. And in that moment, she likes to say that she saw me fall in love with her.
For real. No, I saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
But I could see that we had a thing, that there was something. And I literally thought to myself, oh shit, there's something here. So about how we met, she and I met real quickly. Justin Baldoni's met her first at a club. She was dancing.
So this is kind of worse than the whole video of the birth scene that Blake Lively said it was like corn. Is it euphemism? Is that a word? Yeah, it's kind of worse than that. What the heck? What the heck was that? And I thought, I don't know, a lot of my notes just disappeared. But I left my comment on Dave's channel, like, how sinister of Blake. I said, talk about her supposed line, in the dancing video that Justin Side released of her saying, oh, staring into each other's eyes for a long time. Like, oh, like, I would think that, or he said that she would think that's like psychopathic, or I forget. But Blake Lively is like saying that's psychopathic. And I know that was a joke for her. I know she used it like people use gaslighting now, which is not actual gaslighting, or like people used to say, oh, that's gay, which is so hurtful and so terrible. But that's, I think she's that age. She's that kind of humor. But still, like, twisting something innocent at the very least, if not beautiful. And, what does that say about her? That's so crazy. That's so crazy. She made it sound like they passed her around. Yeah. Is she so unhappy she can't see two people happy? I don't even know how. I mean, it screams at this point, having two instances like this where she mischaracterized things. First of all, it has to be on purpose. I don't think she can't see it. I think, or maybe she can't. I don't know. It's impossible for me to imagine someone seeing this and saying, unless like they told her and it sounded differently to her in that moment because she was already biased and wanted to see something. I think that's the whole thing that they're trying to prove. Like, did she know and she's making false allegations knowingly, or did she not know and she really believed her allegations? That's the thing that, you know, is at play with both Ryan and, but it seems like they kind of, you know, kind of crushed Ryan's arguments. According to the Ask Two Lawyers, they were like, yeah, he has no chance. Well, they didn't say it like that, but with her, it's like not quite as clear. But yeah, it feels very sinister to me that you're going to mischaracterize this. For what? For a movie. For some people's public perception. It just feels so disproportionate. It just feels so disproportionate to trash people's, to take, and you know, Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss was a whole thing of doing that, of taking things out of context and recreating the story, you know, repainting the wall. I don't know, of Justin Baldoni, of what he has said in the past, etc., etc. And I don't know, that's just like so messed up. I can't find my words right now. I'm not really good with my words tonight, apparently. But I don't know. That just like really didn't land very well for me. Oh, I found now I found the thing. Yeah. So, yeah. Should we go on to the Glamour magazine of it all before the court thing? We're not going to get to Harry and Meghan and Armie Hammer. We're not. Well, I don't know. It's the night's still young. All right. So this is what Kjersti Flaa posted. I'll just go straight to the article. We have the Spanish version, which I can try reading, and then we have the English version. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, how it started and how it got complicated. After 2 months of speculation, a harassment complaint from the actress turned the tide in a seemingly different case, followed by another complaint from Baldoni and a host of leaks. Was that necessary? Transmisses de especulaciones. Wow, this is going to challenge my my diction. Una denuncia por acoso. Wow, I need to download Duolingo and well, no, not Duolingo, but practice my Spanish. Por acoso, it has to be because there's no accent. Por parte de la actriz cambió las tornas de un caso que parecía muy diferente. Oh, okay. Seguido de otra denuncia por parte de Baldoni, un sinfín de filtraciones que enmarañan. That's a cool word. La situación. That's an interesting take on having an article. I don't understand the purpose of that sentence anyways. But anyways, so the latest, so what she had posted, Justin Baldoni worked tirelessly to make Blake Lively look like the villain. For example, when the famous interview surfaced in which the actress allegedly mistreated a journalist to the point that she decided to quit her job, it turned out to be taken out of context. I was like, no, they didn't. And that journalist was part of the crisis management team Baldoni hired to address Blake Lively's complaints. I'm curious to see if this is exactly what they said. Where is it? Is it this one? Sorry, I can't like skim read. Oh my gosh, that fast in Spanish. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay. Right? No. No, but what does that say? Baldoni ni a su equipo les gustó nada que Lively hiciera estas reclamaciones, por lo que ya antes del estreno comenzó la campaña de desprestigio contra ella y de paso a su marido. Wait, are we saying that Justin Baldoni now also made a whatever campaign, campaña de desprestigio, desprestigio? Oh my gosh, what is it? Oh gosh, I can't translate that fast in my mind now. A smear campaign against Ryan Reynolds too. Are we? What is this article? Who wrote this article? That's not even in the complaints. Empezado por que, por ejemplo, el hecho de que toda la promoción se hiciera en clave rosa como this is an interesting article. Oh my gosh. So now they're picking on the color. I'm sorry. Like, am I understanding this right? Starting with the fact, for example, that the entire promotion was done in a gossip mongering tone. As if, okay, sorry. As if downplaying the glossing over the film's central theme, gender-based violence. Okay. But I want to get to the point that was there. Okay, so it was right there, next one, okay. La entrevista fuera de... whatever. El trabajo de Justin Baldoni para dejar a Blake Lively como la mala de la película fue minucioso. Por ejemplo, cuando salió a la luz aquella famosa entrevista en la cual la actriz supuestamente maltrataba a una periodista hasta el punto de que decidió dejar su profesión, resultó que estaba sacada de contexto. All right, yeah, so far, good translation. Yeah, part of me is like, like, what if this is like just a bad translation? Like, it can't be, but it's just like so hard to like wrap my mind why things like this exist. It's just so hard to wrap my mind around this. Y que dicha periodista formaba parte del equipo de gestión de crisis que Baldoni contrató. I sound so weird. Para contrarrestar las quejas de Blake Lively. That is just like a blatant lie. And I just wanted to read the Spanish because I'm like, it can't, like, yeah, it is what it is. But that's, gosh. Like, you could say that, you could claim, you can allege that she was hired by the crisis team, or like not hired, but like bought by the crisis team or whatever, but that she was part of the crisis team. I don't know. As far as I know, sorry, I'm in the way. Journalists aren't part of crisis teams. So who are these people? Who are these people? Ana Serrano. This is so weird. Anyway, so yeah. De la sociedad. El vestido Pretty Woman tiene dos versiones en un nuevo de mango. What? Is that the shop, mango shop? Yeah. Okay. Random. Okay. Well, anyways. This is just so... I'll let, Kjersti Flaa cover the rest. I just wanted to, like, cover that part because that was just, like, so crazy to me. And now I want to read it. If all of this is new to you, remember the commotion that arose from a film, Break the Circle, which seemed to be a romantic comedy related to flowers. That was a movie? Portrays a fictional Silicon Valley with realistic themes and foreboding conclusions. Dystopian themes are resonating in real life tech industry. Huh. Well, that's interesting. That's new. Your reading is pretty good. Do you understand what you're reading? Yeah, I can understand better than I read. I don't have a great pronunciation, especially now. I haven't spoken Spanish. Well, I kind of ever, but I did a play in Spanish a few years ago, and I think that was like decent. But they did say that I have a Romanian accent. I'm like, oh, I don't know what that means. And then, yeah, but I can understand it almost perfectly. But it's been a while, so probably not now. I'll need like a little, practice. But now it makes me want to practice. It's really good. Thank you. Yeah. It was not that easy for sure. So that's interesting though. So this was like inspired, because the promotional images and everything related to the film gave an idea of sweetness, love, and surrounded by an aesthetic that we could describe as flirtatious. In reality, it is the drama's central theme is sexist violence. I like that. I like that more. Violencia machista. Okay, let me read this again. What does this have to do with this other movie? Because it sounds like, but I'm like just skipping between. I'll just stick to the English. The latest and promotional footage for the film, the latter also directing it, has been accompanied by controversy from the very beginning and has now led to harassment complaint from her towards him. If this is all new to you, you'll remember the commotion that arose. Okay, so there's like a whole thing for that movie. Interesting. Commotion. I wonder if anyone put that in their YouTube YouTube thing. I think controversy is like the English or whatever. Once again, you're not good, AI. You're not good. Okay, anyways, I'll look that up another time. I'm curious now. But it seems like it's the same kind of thing. So I wonder if she was like inspired by that. In reality, it is a drama. Months later, the case has taken 180 degrees turn after the legal actions, which has gone unnoticed due to the color and above all the disagreements of protagonist. Wait, to the color. En realidad es un drama que pudo pasar desapercibido por el colorido y sobre. Okay. I mean, I think like the movie itself, I don't know if they're relating to like the promotional vibe or the like, the actual pink or the like movie. What? Lawsuit filed by Blake Lively is directed against Justin Baldoni. Google. Pretty sure that's not what they said. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. And his entire team. Sheila. Oh, sorry, I just misread that. My brain's all over the place. I understood everything you read. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I'm. I know I'm like decent. I know like it's understandable, but I definitely like felt the accent, and I have an accent in English now. I have an accent in everything. It's just like my mouth just finds everything hard to pronounce. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, I'm glad. The actress's lawyers have presented evidence confirming that it was the brainchild of Baldoni's entourage. It's interesting because the evidence that she presented was not actual. I don't think that was actual evidence, but okay, let's pretend. I don't know why pruebas sounds like more what they did. Yeah, I had this earlier today with Romanian because I was recording a vlog, like just a vlog, and I said something like I said it in Romanian because in English it just didn't make sense. Oh, să fac ordine. Yeah. So like when you like clean up around the house or whatever, that's how we say it. Like you make order, you make order out of chaos basically. But in English when you say I'm cleaning up or I'm organizing or there's like another word, like it just doesn't sound the same to me, and that like goes with Spanish. There's definitely words in Spanish that I like feel more than in their English equivalents. Like pruebas sounds a lot more like what what she did, like because it's like it sounds to me, and this is probably not what it sounds like to native Spanish speakers maybe, but it sounds to me like it's not like, did they say evidence or proof here? Evidence, yeah. It just sounded like in English like more like this is true what they presented, versus pruebas to me sounds like, well, it could be true, it could not be true, but I mean both are the same thing, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so that article came out, and that's like really just, it's also delayed. When was this published? March 31st. So like it almost feels like maybe just the news didn't reach that way, or the media over there didn't pick it up. Because I know on different people's lives, it has been like people are coming from different parts of the world about this. But yeah. We already know how easy it is to create fake news and how difficult it is to destroy them. This is what is known as astroturfing, a tactic as murky as it is effective. Yeah, this sounds like, what do you call it? Oh, I didn't know about taste. Oh, yeah, like taste it, like try it. Yeah, this sounds like the New York Times article. Like we're going backwards. But, I guess maybe they have to go through their own process. Yes, it's always easier to believe she's a witch made famous by being some sort of America's sweetheart, and he's a poor victim of a powerful man. Wait, I need to read this. No. Oh my gosh. I'm reading all of this and then I'm just all over the place at the same time. So it turns out Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds didn't try to hijack the film's promotion for their own benefit. How is that a question? And also, no, it doesn't turn out that way. We don't know for sure, and we have a lot of pruebas that it was that way, that she didn't create an uncomfortable filming environment. People say that she didn't want to boycott Breaking the Circle because Breaking the Circle was a movie, because things hadn't done. I think that's what. Okay, sorry. Right. So I don't think they're like talking about this movie, but I know I am curious about that movie. Break in the Circle. But that's like, I'm guessing the way that they translated it. It took me a little bit. That's what they translated this movie. It ends with us. It makes sense. Now it makes sense. I was slow. I had my slow moment of the night. Why am I yelling? Where was that? Sorry about being all over the place. Okay, yeah. Entonces resulta que Blake Lively y Ryan Reynolds no Wait, no entonces. There's no entonces. There's not. Where is this coming from? We left it at like astroturfing. Why are you asking a question that is wrong? And that she didn't want to boycott the movie because things hadn't been done her way. According to the formally filed complaint, she would have been the victim of a clear case of this orchestrated maneuver, astroturfing by Baldoni's entourage and himself. I like that he has an entourage now. If confirmed, this smear tactic worked like a charm, and no one was able to see what was really going on. Yes, it's always easier to believe she's a witch made famous by some sort of America's sweetheart. It's a poor victim. What do you mean made famous? Venida a más por ser una suerte de novia de América. Novia de América does not sound that good. I like America's sweetheart more. Okay, yeah, so no. What were these questions? That didn't even make sense. Anyways, okay. So, as always, I'll link it's only one article. I just use this other tab to like translate it or to do the English in Chrome. So, I'll link the article below for anyone who wants to take a look at it. But was that painful? I wouldn't say it was uncomfortable. I don't know, painful. Because I'm just a little bit more sensitized now, or like, I'm like, ugh, whatever. We're just waiting to see things. And let me pull up Court Listener, because I don't know if something came up. No, okay. I thought something else came up. No, it did. Wait. This is the last thing. No, this is what? Yeah. Okay. This is the thing. This is the thing. I thought it was something else. All right. No. Okay. Let me close this so I know where we're at. What is this one? Oh yeah, this is the charity situation. No, wait, it's not. It's not the response. Consolidated plaintiffs, blah, 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 respectfully submit this memorandum of law in opposition to consolidated defendant Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss the amended complaint for failure. Yeah, at least that's what I was looking for. And I don't see anything else that's new since then. Oh, speaking of, this just popped up. All right. Because I saw when I was looking, Chuck Lawrence live, she might be covering that one. Yeah, I just, is it Divert? Is that what it's called? I just kind of pass it on to her, and now I get the court notification. Who, has the ability to pay for these things and have them firsthand. And she's doing such a great job at reading all of it. And my reading takes forever because I do a lot of commentary. So, but yeah, so memorandum of points. Okay, I've realized that I'm too big to fail at this point, so I just crush my enemies and drink their blood. Ryan Reynolds. This was on Catherine Short. His skincare regime alone would bankrupt you. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman bring banter and bromance to London in The Guardian, July 12, 2024. So I did watch Ask Two Lawyers, but I don't know, can they say stuff from other sources? Because the motion to dismiss needs to stay within the complaint, the amended complaint. I like your commentary, don't knock it. Yeah, well, I mean, like, for anyone who wants to just not waste the time on that, I can't yeah, I always I can't speak highly of myself or whatever. I can't even find the words. This is how bad it is. That's how uncomfortable I am right now. I'm like, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, but yeah, I thought they had to stay within the bounds of the legal documents, the one particular one. So now we're pulling things out. You can also say that talk about clearly a joke. That's definitely like a joke. But okay, let's see what they say. I realized that I'm too big to fail at this point, so I just crushed my nose and drained their blood. Reynolds pretends that the Wayfarer party's First Amendment complaint, the FAC, fails to set forth, or the FAC, fails to set forth any basis for his liability and that he merely acted as a supportive spouse. Not so. The FAC specifically alleges ample. I feel like I was reading Spanish better than English right now. Ample facts to support the Wayfarer Party's claims against him, based on both his direct actions and his liability as a co conspirator. The motion fails to show the Wayfarer parties fell short of their pleading burden under Rule 12b-6 and the Twombly Iqbal standard. Those are cool names. I do know, like, from Lauren's live last night that Bobulinski was mentioned. I was like, yeah, Bobulinski. She said it, probably better, as far as like American. California law applies to each of the Wayfarer parties' claims, but under the law of either New York or California, the Wayfarer parties have pleaded defamation and tortious interference claims against Reynolds sufficient to defeat dismissal. This is particularly true where, as here, Reynolds has superior knowledge of the facts underlying the Wayfarer party's claims, given the early stage of discovery. In the alternative, any of the defects or inartful, I love that word, inartful pleading in the FAC can be remedied by amendment, which is freely allowed, and the Wayfarer parties have gained additional information to plead further facts to support each of their claims against Reynolds, as well as the need to apply California law. Furthermore, the Wayfarer parties can amend their complaint to more fully incorporate the allegations of Exhibit A into the body of the complaint, mooting the motion to strike. Mooting. Scope. What do you mean, Maria? Wait. Please expand. What do you mean by scope? His true colors are starting to seep through and he can't help himself. Yeah. Oh, did I say scope and I wasn't meant to say scope of the FAC? That's what I meant, like beyond the scope. Oh, did I say confines or something? Yeah, okay. I meant like, yeah, they need to stay within, yeah, beyond the scope. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I'll just continue. I can't even come up with a phrase right now to anything. Okay. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm like having a not short circuit moment, because that's when I just get completely like blank and I can't even speak, but I'm having one of those like, I don't know, semi short circuit moments. Anyways, finally, even in the extremely unlikely event that the court determines dismissal without leave to amend is appropriate, Reynolds is unable to recover his attorney's fees, as neither California nor New York's anti-SLAPP laws apply here. Interesting. Do they say why? I'm asking, when people are watching a movie and they're both watching the movie for the first time. I don't know. I'm guessing that some of you have watched the others though. So I'm like, but I'm asking, like, so what will happen after? Anyways, in short, the motion should be denied. In the alternative, the court should grant the Wayfarer parties leave to amend their complaint, because any defects in the first amended complaint are easily cured based on the facts now known to the Wayfarer parties. So my understanding is that they gained some knowledge of facts as a result of discovery. Did they start discovery yet? Or is it just like, now we know that we need to provide more details? I didn't really understand that part, but moving on. Legal standard and factual background. I filled this up this morning, and this is just how little I drank today. Sorry. Not so, I mean, anyways. Pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 10C, I read that like I know what that is. Like, of course. Yeah, 10C. The Wayfair parties incorporate by reference their allegations in the first amended complaint. FAC, docket number 50. I almost said Dakota, so yeah. And their recitations of legal standards and factual backgrounds. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on Dakota number 50. And factual backgrounds in their oppositions to the Rule 12b-6 motions of consolidated defendants Leslie Sloan and Vision PR and the New York Times argument. Okay. The FAC gives adequate notice of to Reynolds under Rule 8. Reynolds incorporates by reference the arguments made by other parties that the FAC. Here we go. This happens when I sing, when I used to have singing lessons, and I used to just start a yawning fit in the rest of the lesson after a certain point when we were doing some breathing exercises or something. So I was so frustrated. Anyways, Reynolds incorporates no, stick to this, Arena. Stick to this. Reynolds incorporates by reference these things. Is that motion at 6, number 4? What is it? Anyways, in response, the Wayfair parties incorporate. Contains impermissible group pleading. In response, the Wayfair parties incorporate their responsive arguments from their oppositions to the motions to dismiss of the Sloan parties and the New York Times, and reiterate that any defect can easily be cured by amendment. California law applies to the Wayfair parties' claim against Reynolds. The choice of law rules of New York, the forum state, apply these things. The first step is to determine whether the laws of New York and California conflict. So see these other things. An actual conflict exists where the applicable law from each jurisdiction provides differing rules that have potential to affect the outcome of the case significantly. The laws of New York and California conflict as to each of the Wayfair parties' claims against Reynolds for defamation, false light, invasion of privacy, tortious interference, and civil extortion. As to false light and civil extortion, the conflict between the two states' laws is total. California recognizes the claims, while New York does not. A false light claim, like libel, exposes a person to hatred, contempt, ridicule, or obliquity. New York does not recognize the tort of false. I don't like the word tort. Also, because literally in Romanian, tort is how we would pronounce that, and it means cake. But that's not why I don't like it, because I like cake. But I don't like tort. It just sounds weird. I don't know. Tortoise. I don't know. A false light invasion of privacy. Okay, so can we get to actual stuff? The laws of New York and California also conflict. Wait, I'm so confused. Why are we talking? Also conflict with respect to defamation. California extends no greater protection to opinions than does the United States Constitution, while New York law, by contrast, in excess of the United States Constitution, provides for absolute protection of opinions. Interesting. As New York and California laws conflict, the court must determine which law to apply to each claim. New York follows the doctrine of dépassage. That is cool. I did not pronounce that right. I know the E sounds in French. Literally, I had 1 or 2 or maybe 3 tutoring lessons with who my now friend is. Who is my friend now. We are much better friends than tutors, or I don't know, tutor to T, but I remember she tried to get me to say le or something and something else, or no, de and do, I don't know. So that I did not pronounce that right, but I tried. Deposage. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Does can Apple translate it? In law, dismemberment. Concept within the field of conflict of laws whereby different issues within a single case are governed by the laws of different jurisdictions. In common law countries, deposage can be used when a single contract provides that different parts of the contract shall be governed by different laws. Okay. Or in the absence of a contract, when a court's own rules on choice of law cause it to apply different bodies of law to different questions. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So, big word for nothing. Not nothing, but yeah. I'm sorry. I made you yawn. Yeah, I make myself yawn too when I watch, like, when I record videos and I watch them back and I yawn in them, of course, too. And yeah, but I think that's a good thing. I think if you don't yawn when someone else is yawning, either you're just not paying attention, or you're just really not tired, or I don't. Some people say it's worse. So I have my speculations on someone that used to not. I mean, literally next to me would not yawn when I yawned. Okay, so under New York choice of law rules in defamation cases, the state of the plaintiff's domicile will usually have the most significant relationship to the case, and its law will therefore govern. Although the preference for the plaintiff's domicile is not conclusive, the significant contacts in a defamation case are almost exclusively the parties' domiciles and the locus of the tort. I do find it interesting. We were talking about this when Blake Lively's motion to dismiss came out, and how confused we are. Like, which law are we using? Which state and why? And why is it so different? I still don't understand. It just feels unfair. But, that's like the weirdness of having such a huge country where states are basically different countries, sort of. They're so big. And I guess it still to me feels like cheating that you're able to like be like, yeah, so, but it's not cheating because it's so complicated. Because yeah, they reside in California. These, the Wayfair parties, almost all of them, if not all, reside in California, do business in California. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, they do business in California, but they reside in New York and Connecticut. Like, I don't know. So yeah, when the two lawyers explain it in simple words, I totally understand. Yeah, yeah, I know. That's something I can't do. That's why, like, I started watching them, and when I'm reading this, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember them mentioning this and covering this. I understand a little of what they're saying here. Yeah. Although the preference for the plaintiff's domicile is not conclusive, the significant contacts are almost exclusive to parties. I want to get to, because usually my understanding, the only plaintiff who is not a resident of California is Steve Sarowitz. Ironically, who resides in Illinois. I thought he was in California. No party has to date advanced an argument that the law of Illinois should apply to any claim in this action. Moreover, Sarowitz's connection to this action is through his ties to Wayfair, which is located in California. I feel like later on, right? We're only on page 4. Chicago, yeah. I didn't know. Interesting. I like Chicago, I think. But I think like later it's a little bit more interesting. I don't know. Though New York may have some interest in this action because Reynolds resides in New York, California has a much more significant interest because nearly all of the plaintiffs are residents of California or have their principal place of business here, the two corporate plaintiffs. Okay. This is going to be so interesting. It feels like such a mess already with like which law for who, for what. All right. The fact I'll just like skip a little bit ahead. The underlying New York Times article. Oh, I can't. In addition, I'll skip a tiny bit. In addition, the underlying New York Times article, which is in many respects the genesis of this entire action, is that word I can never pronounce, based on reporting relating to Lively's complaint filed in California's Civil Rights Department, which asserts claims for violation of California's law. So, the state of claim of defamation against Ryan. When defamation is clear on its face, it is defamation per se, and damage is presumed. In an action for damages, language defamatory per se, damage to the plaintiff's reputation is conclusively presumed. Okay. To plead defamation, a plaintiff must allege. If you guys have not watched Suits, the original, do not watch the LA version, but do watch Suits, the original, because as I'm reading this, I literally can see these lawyers, from that show, inspired by that show and how they showed the inner workings of the law firms. I could literally see these lawyers like actually like cross-referencing laws and all this stuff. And yeah, it's really cool. It is very intriguing and messy. I'm still going to follow it until the end. Yeah. Yeah. My take now has been I'm following it, but like something like this comes out, okay, I'll read it here, I'll talk about it. But like a lot of times things I just want to like sit and watch because it feels like not monumental, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to get in that marathon mindset. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I think we all were sprinting at the start, as a watcher or as a content creator, and we all just were like sprinting and got burned out, and I got burned out at least. And yeah, I wanna try to be a marathon runner. I don't know how to be a marathon runner. I'm a sprinter as a personality. But I'm trying. To plead defamation, a plaintiff must allege written or oral defamatory statement or of fact concerning the plaintiff, publication to a third party, fault, either negligence or actual malice, depending on the status of the libeled party, falsity of the defamatory statement, and special damages or per se actionability, which it seems right now that they basically have all of these, it seems, regarding Ryan Reynolds, to that one statement, especially. To the New York Times, a written oral defamatory statement, publication to a third party, fault. Yeah. That one's going to be interesting. It's, sorry about the yawn. The New York Times one is really interesting and scary because of the protections that publications have. But I don't know, it's just, to me, it has, not that it has less interest, but I feel like it's, I don't know. It just feels, maybe it just in my mind, it feels like harder to like grasp. Special damages or per se actionability. Okay. Oh, Sarah Palin. The pleading stage, falsity of the alleged statements is presumed. The court must decide only whether the statements alleged to have caused plaintiff injury are reasonably susceptible to the defamatory meaning imputed to them. And this, I remember the Ask Two Lawyers was saying that they have a pretty good point here, and as to like the judge ruling to be like, okay, yeah, we need to wait for the jury to decide whether, we need, like, as a judge, he won't decide, he won't like dismiss this point based on this paragraph here. I did a terrible job explaining that. Go check their video out. The facts sufficient, and this is so me. Like, I am sending you guys to everyone but me, and I do this all the time. And I don't really want to change that, honestly. Like, in my perfect world, we would all kind of have our own like part of the pie and not competing, but like, play to our strengths. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to become a lawyer anytime soon. Not in the next, like, not even a year. I'm not going for that either. And so, like, lawyers should take on the reading and the explaining. And then, I don't know, everyone has their strengths. I don't know right now what each person's strength is. Lauren does also a pretty good job. She's really good at being really fast, on it. So that's her strength. So yeah, in my perfect world, like, we would all like work together, but that's not how it works because we're in an imperfect world. But moving on. But yeah, I don't want to give up, like, pointing you guys to other people that, I know, to me that's not just fair, but like, it would be really hard for me to not do that. It doesn't make sense, logical sense to me to be like, I just have all the information, just listen to me, or whatever. Because I also don't. And that's like a lot. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. And I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Moving on. The FAC sufficiently identifies Reynolds' defamatory statements of and concerning Baldoni and the other Wayfarer parties. What's this little thingy? Oh, Wayfarer parties also suffered injury in New York as well as in California, which is a true statement, though the bulk of the harms were felt in California. Yeah. Oh. Sorry. I'm trying to not make you yawn, Angel. Reynolds' contention that the FAC fails to identify defamatory statements he made fails on its face. I like that this is like in a legal place. Fails on its face. The federal rules require that each pleading be specific enough to afford the defendant sufficient notice of the communications complained of to enable him to defend himself. Burton versus Label, LLC. Reynolds must have confused the rules of pleading with the rules of evidence. I like how they didn't even make that sentence themselves. They just used it from Semple versus Andrews. Distinguishing standard to plead defamation from what a plaintiff must prove at a trial. Statements made, that's what it felt like. Statements made at various times and places and to various persons suffice to state claim. Less particular, I mean, yeah, like, Blake Lively didn't prove yet. Then, it literally, you go through this process to have to prove what you're saying. And that's why, like, it was confusing, because when Blake Lively came with her complaint, everyone believed her because you just thought, well, I think all of us kind of equated it to perjury. Like, if you claim something that's not true, like, it's perjury. And then I think, right, perjury is the one that, like, when you're like lying on the stand. But it's not, we've learned with this case. I've learned, I didn't know that before, because that when I read it, I'm like, she can't be lying because it's like in a legal document. And then I learned, oh, well, you can say anything. You can claim anything and it needs to be proven. Yes, Maria, you were saying, yeah. It is very intriguing. Oh, sorry, I just read that. Yeah, so it was an interesting approach or attack or claim that Reynolds had in his motion to dismiss. Like, yeah. Like, yeah, anyways. I mean, sorry, I remember saying that, another piece that I learned that I didn't know before all of this was that literally you don't even need as much as they supplied to begin with. Usually those complaints are submitted very short and they don't have evidence. They don't have any details. So to me, that logically followed into, you don't really need to prove anything necessarily, like right now, you don't need that evidence right now. It would be curious, and I don't know if Ask Lawyers ever talked about this, but when you need more, when you need the evidence to come in to provide evidence in this whole process, because it's such a long process. I was thinking of asking people to come on here. To be honest, one, I'm terrified because I don't know how that works. I don't know how, like, the technical part of it. And two, I know one of you suggested that I should ask Lauren to get on here, to like do like a video or whatever. And I don't even know the name of it. Look at that. But yeah, I basically do what I tell people not to do, which is I already assume that they're not even going to entertain that idea. They're going to be like, who are you? You're no one. No, thank you. And then my brain goes to like, but what if they do agree? Or like, I need to prove myself. I need to prove that I have something interesting or some like a unique angle or like unique questions to ask them or whatever to be ready. And then my brain goes to like, oh crap, I need to like really be ready. And then so I'm like, well, even if I would ask them, I need to be ready first before asking them. And then yeah, hello perfectionism. So back to this thing. But I do like, I wanted to ask the one psychologist, the British psychologist, Dr. I forget her name, like Kaur, Dr. Kaur. I wanted to ask her, and I had some questions for her, and then I chickened out. Now I'm like, oh, I don't have enough questions for ask to lawyers, but I would love to like have a conversation with them as lawyers. Yeah, I think during discovery she'll slip yeah, discovery or depositions. Dave Neal says that they'll not get to trial. I still don't see that. And I don't know if this changed anything, but ask to lawyers actually just were changing the opposite. They had said like, oh yeah, settle, and now when these started going, they're like, oh, they're not gonna settle anymore. Deposition, yeah. I can't wait. Like, I'm like, can I fast forward? This is like, the curse of binge watching. Yeah, me too. We're in the same boat. Yeah, I said that like, do you not mean deposition, Maria? Like, get with the program. Is that what they say? What the kids say? Get with the program? I don't even know that. I'm having such a night. Okay. And I really need to use the restroom. It's 11:30. Okay, let's continue. Less particular. I think this is where I left off. Less particularity is required in the allegations of the complaint where the adverse party has a knowledge of the facts superior to the party pleading them. The FAC alleges that at least twice Reynolds stated to WMU executives, this is the juicy part, Baldoni's and Wayfair's talent agency, that Baldoni is a sexual predator and that, by implication, WME was in business with a sexual predator. FAC paragraph 8, 162, double paragraph 8, 162. The first statement was on July 15, 2024. Side note, who in here took keyboard class? We called it keyboard class. I don't know. Maybe you called it something else. Back in the day, for me, it was in high school. When I started high school, we had, this is so ridiculous. And I thought it was ridiculous at that time too, because I so knew computers because my stepfather worked with computers. But we literally had to learn like how to type correctly, like how to space our fingers and how to like type without looking at the keyboard and like things like this, like paragraph symbols and things. So yeah, who had a class like that, let me know. The first statement was on July 15, 2024, when Reynolds contacted Baldoni's agent, Danny Greenberg, for the purpose of making these defamatory statements. So, okay, wow. So that was the first time. Like, this guy went out of his way to call. I mean, if this is able to be proven, whew. whoo, I can see how that is not unlawful, but you know what I mean. Like, that's just like guilty if that's the case. Yes, keyboard class in high school. Yeah, you too. Yeah. It's a good time. I always felt like this is so ridiculous. I don't need this. I felt like that about a lot of things that I probably instead could have seen as like, I can just get better at it. Like Meisner. I thought, oh, this is like child's play. And then it was not. Wow, but this, like, I know I read this last night because I got in Lauren's live later, so I'm like, who said what? I got in right after this, I think. And I thought it was like, yeah, anyways, wow. Wow, sorry, I still, whoa. I got ahead of myself because then it says on the call, Reynolds referred to Baldoni as a deranged predator, which they might say like, well, we didn't say sexual predator. I don't think the semantics really matter right now. The semantics are not that different. Deranged predator might even be worse. You know, deranged is like the Joker kind of thing, you know. That's the visual I have in mind of someone who's deranged, like a rabid raccoon or something. And warned Greenberg that Baldoni should not attend the film's premiere the next month because no one wants him there. How childish. Oh my gosh, we're dealing with a 7-year-old boy. No one wants him there, so he shouldn't come. I type without looking at the keyboard with long nails. What I learned in high school came in handy. Yeah. People are always amazed how fast I type. I think in Lauren's live, I think it was Winks on there that was like, whoa. I was so fast. I do type really fast. And texting too. But that's also impressive. I cannot do it with long nails. The only time I had long nails though was for that Oscar party that I had a month ago. And I made it work, but it was a challenge to like use my phone, like even just use it, much less type on it. So, whew, that's like awesome, Maria. And it wasn't like the super long nails, but it was like much longer than what my nails would grow. But yeah, like what? Sorry. Let's just go right back in it. The second statement was on July 22nd. So July 15th, he called this guy's agent to say, "Hey, no one wants your client to the movie that he directed and is the main star or one of the main stars out of the 3 in." And so yeah, I say this is like childish and middle school, high school, whatever, but I don't even remember in high school or middle school or any school people doing this. But I hear from others or like from when movies tell us that, you know, this kind of thing happens then. But it's so immature. It's so like, it just does not feel adult, right? The second statement was on July 22nd, 2024, at the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere. When didn't I not say that there was a possibility that Brian Freeman would be like, okay, let's get specific. If you want the facts, here are the facts, or whatever. On July 22nd, when Reynolds told a senior WME executive that, oh my gosh, sorry, I thought it was a spider. It was a strand of hair. That by representing Baldoni, WME was doing business with a sexual predator. Okay, that's when that was said. Okay. As alleged, Reynolds was pressuring and later demanded WME to cut ties with Baldoni. So they didn't name Ari Emanuel. We don't know if that's him. We assume it's him, but we don't know for sure. But they named the other guy because maybe like he's told them, like he's given them proof, or maybe they've subpoenaed him or something, you know. These allegations are more than sufficiently specific, identifying the speaker the listeners, and why, where, and and when the statements were made. Given this specificity, it is unclear why Reynolds cites cases involving allegations so threadbare as to omit the time, place, speaker, or listener. As to the other Wayfarer parties, the FAC alleges that Reynolds worked in concert with Lively and the Sloan parties to publicly and falsely smear them. It would be very awesomely ironic. Just awesomely, I had to throw that in there. My petty side is coming out a little bit. But it would be very awesomely or whatever ironic if it's proven through this whole thing that the smear campaign actually started and only happened from the Lively side. Wouldn't that be like one of those poetic justice or whatever? Because I think that happened. I believe that happened based on how they're speaking and approaching things. I would not be at all surprised. I would actually be more surprised that there is no smear campaign that was done from Lively side before even the premiere. I would be very, very surprised. And then it also kind of goes into like, those who did it usually say you claim others did it. But yeah, I don't know. That popped into my head. I hate to say this, but I hope that happens. I hope we get to see that. If it's true. If it's not true, of course not. But like, if it's true, I hope we get to see that. Reynolds and his co-conspirators made statements to third parties. I'm sorry. I just need to pat myself on the back. I'm doing this now because I just need to remind myself that, hey, I'm not a huge failure. I do some things right. And because I picked right off where I left off. Rare moment. Reynolds and his co-conspirators made statements to third parties, including at least to the New York Times, and the Wayfarer parties engaged in, permitted, and or failed to prevent sexual misconduct toward Lively and retaliated against her for reporting the alleged misconduct, including by spreading lies to damage Lively's image. In this paragraphs, Reynolds, with Lively and Sloan parties, told the New York Times a false and damning story about an insidious PR sabotage operation deployed as revenge for sexual harassment complaints, knowing that the newspaper would publish. I don't mean like don't hate me, but I feel what comes to mind is like, isn't this a stretch? Like, realistically, I'm sure that Lively wasn't on her own, but I don't know. Is this provable? How will this go? Yeah. A statement underlying a defamation claim must specifically refer to or be of and concerning the plaintiff. Statements must be of and concerning the individual, either by name or by clear implication. Allegedly, defamatory statements must be of and concerning the plaintiff. Okay. There is no question that requirement is satisfied. As alleged, all the Wayfarer parties have become figures of infamy because of Reynolds' statements, which were widely disseminated and understood to refer to them. Furthermore, Furthermore, the of and concerning requirement is an issue of fact for the jury to decide. This is the thing. And the court may dismiss an action only where the statement is incapable of supporting a jury's finding that it refers to the plaintiff. This is where the Ask Two lawyers were saying, like, or maybe it was like a combination, because they weren't reading it, they were just like, here are the highlights. They were saying like, very likely the judge will just pass this forward. He's not going to dismiss this point because of this. This is not a case in which a jury would be incapable of finding that the statements at issue refer to each of the Wayfarer parties. Any doubts raise a question for the jury, not a question of law for the court. Now, jury generally decides whether defamatory statement is of and concerning plaintiff. The Wayfarer party's allegations also implicate the small group exception of the group defamation doctrine. An individual belonging to a small group may maintain an action for individual injury resulting from a defamatory comment about the group by showing that he is a member of the group. Here, there are 7 Wayfarer parties, well below the ceiling of the small group exception that Reynolds defamed them all. Reynolds' defamatory statements are not an actionable opinion. Under California law, to constitute defamation, the offensive publications must state facts rather than opinion. A statement is defamatory only if capable of being proven true or false. Statements do not imply a probably false factual assertion and thus cannot form the basis of a defamation action if they cannot reasonably be interpreted as stating actual facts about an individual. But a statement of opinion is actionable if implicitly based on undisclosed facts. Whether the statement is fact or opinion is for the jury to weigh. Here, the question is whether a fact finder could conclude the published statements imply a probably false fact. The court applies a totality of the circumstances test in which the court reviews the language of the statement and the context in which the statement was made. If a statement is factually specific, earnest, or serious in tone, or the speaker represents himself as unbiased, having specialized or first-hand experience, or having personally witnessed abhorrent behavior, this may signal that there is a factual basis for the accusations. I mean, I feel like that was like a slam dunk as far as this part of it, at least. This right here is like, yeah, I can see why they were saying, like, yeah, there's very likely high chances that a judge will not dismiss this part. I don't know if they're saying the whole thing or just at least the defamatory claim part. Courts applying New York law generally consider whether the specific language in issue has a precise meaning which is readily understood, whether the statements are capable of being proven true, and whether the full context of the communication in which the statement appears is such as to signal readers or listeners that what is being read or heard is likely to be opinion, not fact. New York courts focus on the overall context in which the complaint of assertions were made. Context includes not only the immediate context in which the disputed words appear, but also the larger context in which the statements were published. Examining first the content of the whole communication as well as its tone and its apparent purpose. If a statement contains opinion, the court must then examine whether the statement is pure opinion and thus non-actionable, or mixed opinion and therefore actionable. That is an interesting one. The actionable element of a mixed opinion is the implication that the speaker knows certain facts unknown to his audience which support his opinion and are detrimental to the person about whom he is speaking, which Ryan, I almost said another name, but Ryan Reynolds literally said this in his motion to dismiss, that he believed it to be true if he said it, which he said that he might have not said it, but if he said it, it's because it's true, or because he believed it's true. I agree, yeah. This positive inquiry is whether a reasonable reader could have concluded that the statements were conveying facts. Sorry. Reynolds' attempt to recast his statements as opinion is bellied by context. These statements were statements that at least implied undisclosed facts. all are susceptible to a defamatory meaning, namely that Baldoni had committed egregious sexual offenses that warrant the label of sexual predator. Being wrongfully branded as that is defamatory as one of the most loathsome labels in society. That comes from, Partridge versus State. And reversing order granting motion to dismiss based on allegations that defendant called plaintiff a sexual predator to members of the women's tennis team was Smartwood versus Fodness. That's one letter swap away from irony. Denying motion to dismiss defamation claim based on statement that plaintiff was fired for being a sexual predator. Brewer versus Menno Haven. And Conejo versus American Federal or something of government somethings. Denying motion to dismiss claim based on statement plaintiff. Okay. Context also matters. Reynolds made the statements. I remember I was on Lawrence Live for this one because it was like, whoa. Context also matters. Reynolds made the statements to key WME figures in an effort to force WME to drop Baldoni or even to not have him at, so there's the WME side, but there's also the agent side. Like, he made comments to prevent him from being at the premiere of his movie. And that is, I would say, malice and pretty clear. Reynolds' argument that his deep disdain for Baldoni precludes a defamatory meaning to his words is illogical. Yeah, it's like a circular argument. That deep disdain, which Reynolds seemed to view as exculpatory, supports an inference of actual malice. Yeah, exactly. Like literally, like he just threw himself under the bus. Reynolds, yeah, Blake Lively's was kind of not tough to read. It had its moments. It wasn't like her complaints. Maybe the lawyer or whoever wrote for Reynolds, which it seems like he did, but whatever. Maybe that person wrote her initial complaints because her motion to dismiss had a lot more sense into it, and it was actually a lot better written too. But I don't know. Okay, so this big footnote was or is around the case law cited by Reynolds, all of which is flatly in opposite, demonstrates the importance of viewing statements in their proper context. All right, well, moving on. Sorry to move on from that one. Reynolds' defamatory statements are not substantially true. Reynolds argues the defamation claim fails because his alleged statements are substantially true. Oh my gosh, I remember it was like he was trying to cover all his bases, and that is exactly kind of what made him look guilty. Because he's probably guilty, but we don't know that yet, technically. But truth is a question of fact, not for the jury. Oh, dare. Concluding there was a jury question as to whether defamatory utterances were substantially true. Dare versus Rolling Stone. That's interesting. Holding that substantial truth is a jury question as long as substantial truth is not evident to the court. The only exception when substantial truth is evident to the court is not the case here. Dare America, some other stuff, taking the allegations in the FAC as true, as the court must on this motion. The court cannot conclude as a matter of law that Baldoni is a sexual predator or the Wayfair parties smeared Lively to retaliate for her disclosure of supposed misconduct. That's literally what they're trying to prove or disprove. That's literally the reason of this whole case. These propositions are expressly denied in the FAC with proof. Reynolds' statements have a different effect on the mind of the reader or listener from that which the pleaded truth would have produced. this case is not one of slight inaccuracies of expression. This is actual malice. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Reynolds first argues that the FAC alleges facts. Wow, I just skipped a whole word. Alleges facts that a reasonable observer could well consider predatory. He next argues that a review of extrinsic evidence, specifically Baldoni's book, podcast, and YouTube appearances, are a factual basis of his assertions. What is this id, though? Because I just think of like the ego and id. Reynolds' first argument collapses upon any scrutiny of the FAC. Reynolds points to a conversation Baldoni had with Lively at Sony's discretion about her wardrobe choices, and a suggestion from the film's intimacy coordinator relayed to Lively by Baldoni, as Lively would not meet her, about the mechanics of a particular intimate scene, calling a costume sexy, hiring a Shakespearean trained actor with an MFA in acting to play a doctor, Jamey Heath, not Baldoni, showing Lively in preparation for a birth scene, a single clip from a home birth video depicting Heath's newborn son, and Baldoni's I don't know that I'll ever get that word. The day that I'll get that word is going to be a party. Purported failure to deny biting and sucking of Lively's lip. Even construed, wow, my brain, my mouth, even construed in the most uncharitable light, which would be inappropriate here. These admissions do not show Baldoni as a sexual predator, or is. Reynolds' second argument is barred as it requires the court to consider extrinsic evidence not properly before it on a Rule 12b6 motion. To prove that Baldoni is a sexual predator, Reynolds draws on excerpts from Baldoni's book, YouTube videos, and podcast episodes, none of which are in the FAC. Reynolds' statements to WME executives did not refer to Baldoni's past statements. As alleged in the FAC, Reynolds was referring to what purportedly, that was close, happened on the set of It Ends With Us. Reynolds' continued effort to smear Baldoni is irrelevant, given that submission of evidence is not proper on a motion to dismiss, because it is only the sufficiency of the pleadings that are at issue. LOL. On a Rule 12b6 motion, if matters outside the pleadings are presented to and not excluded by the court, the motion must be treated as one for summary judgment under Rule 56. All parties must be given a reasonable opportunity to present all the material that is pertinent to the motion. There are a few narrow exceptions, including for written instruments attached as exhibits to a pleading. The courts will sometimes consider documents that a plaintiff had either in its possession or had knowledge of, and upon which they relied in bringing suit, that were integral to its complaint. What is this? Reynolds citation to Krista McAuliffe. That's a cool name. What is that? Which involved the discussion of judicial notice in the context of a motion. Wait, where was that? Oh, this thing. Okay. Getting through it. Definitely not covering all the other stuff. Because I wonder where the storm is. Let's see if the storm is still happening. I really, really need to go to the bathroom. Oh my gosh. Oh, we're in tornado watch. All right, cool. That's awesome. It's coming. 1 a.m. Sorry. My brain is hurting. Yeah. I think I want to like stop there. Page 12. We're like pretty much halfway there and continue. I still want to do it. This makes me want to talk about the It Ends With Us rooftop scene. Very unrelated, but it makes me want to talk about it more. And then I'll just go, oh my gosh, wow. Look at this. This is like the front of all fronts. This is serious. Hopefully we won't have a tornado. That is really crazy. It's like it's coming for you guys too in New York. I know some of you are there in New York. Like seriously, look at that. It's just like lighting. Come on, focus. There you go. So much lighting. Sorry, I'm like still on the other page. Why does it have to be so many pages, both sides? Yeah. Well, they agreed that there's like a limit of pages. I'm glad they agreed on that. Wow. Sorry. Now I'll show it again because that was like really. That's pretty crazy. Why am I? Yeah. There we go. Florida, you might be safe on this one, but you know. Yeah, take your wins in Florida when with storms. There's like a fire in where is this? Like North Carolina or something. Weather. I don't know if this is like more than usual or because we have these apps like we see it more, but all the like wildfire smoke, you know, we always see it. Yeah. So, yay, Florida. I do. Oh, part of me wants to live in Florida because it does seem pretty nice. It is quite humid. I don't like humidity. So yeah, I was thinking maybe like Arizona or something more. But yeah, having a beach is also quite like important for me. And then um California, too cold. I want to be able to get into the water. Too humid, yeah. Yeah. I think I shared my story with what felt like 100% humidity at an Il Divo concert in Boca Raton. That was fun. I don't know how they sang. I don't know how they sang through that. But also supposedly that's like better for your vocals. Definitely better than the cold. Have you lived there like your whole life in Florida, or did you move there at one point? I need to like move somewhere. I need to like not like at this moment, but I need to stop being scared. Oh, wait a second. What is this from Billy Bush? No way Ryan gets dismissed. Oh, these. Have you guys seen the one with that's like an actual bop? I'm not even of the generation that says bop, but women over 50 that haven't worked out in years or something like that, but it's like an actual like club or pop song. That sounds really cool. Sometimes I leave that on just because I like the song. Whoop, it just went away. Come on, come back. Ah. Okay. All right, let's see. What is this?
Baldoni, he responded to Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss himself from a movie, and he's got to be joking, but starts with a quote from Ryan saying, "I've realized that I'm too big to fail at this point, so I just crush my enemies and drink their blood." I'm trying to imagine him saying it, and I think he had to be kidding, right? Anyway, the quote is from July 12th, 2024. They don't go on to say where it's from. So, in this filing by Brian Friedman and Team Baldoni, Reynolds pretends that the Wayfarer party's first amended complaint, which means Justin's $400 million suit, fails to set forth any basis, further facts to support in this action because Reynolds resides Civil Rights Department. So that may bode well for Baldoni. Baldoni's team goes on to say where defamation is clear, it's on its face here. It is. Morris cut ties with Baldoni. Other things, you know, he came into the trailer when he shouldn't have. Jamey Heath is between her thighs for this scene when Baldoni went off script.
Sometimes it's
and
funny to
nibbled
just
on
like
her
skip
lip,
ahead
he
and
did
just
a
make
little
an
biting,
ad-libs
and that was not in the script, and
thing.
he shouldn't have done that, and he went off. Small problem for Blake here. You know, you can't get away from the internet sleuths. They're just too good. There's too many of them out there. This one wasn't even that hard to find. So Blake does this movie in 2018 opposite Henry Golding, A Simple Favor. Henry Golding plays her husband. Now, if you're going to go and you're going to complain in a big lawsuit, and this is a central part of her lawsuit, that he went off script, Baldoni went off script, he nibbled my lip, he got super creepy on me. Well, here's the biggest part. There is commentary from the DVD Blu-ray from that movie.
Yeah.
Paul Feig, again, but
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was what do they call it? What do they call gosh, I can't think of. Clickbait. Clickbait. Maybe that was clickbait.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. My name is Lauren Knighty. We have the latest filing here in the Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively universe. Now this is one of two filings that we expected to see this week from Blake Lively against Jad Wallace and Street Relations Inc. So these are the crisis PR firm that...
So it looks like they consolidated with it. I mean, I think I saw that, but I didn't read it. It was that day when so many things came out. It was just like too much. Check Lauren's video out on that. But yeah, I'm going to call my life kind of a night over here, and then I'm just like I keep moving things forward. I just keep moving them forward. Oliver Stone, Meghan Harry, and whatever. They're not big stories right now anyways, and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely things like this take precedence when things come out or it's like a actual current story. So yeah, but what do you guys think of the broccoli? Did you have broccoli? Was this inspiring to get some broccoli or some veggies instead of ice cream and donuts? I'm really proud of this broccoli. I really love my thumbnail. Didn't help. I don't know. I don't know if it's like my thumbnail or it's just people don't like my delivery or whatever timing. I don't know. But I love this thumbnail for this one. But yeah, this feels anticlimactic. Nothing like reading one of these legal documents to make it seem like this live was not that fun. You're too full. That's okay. Tomorrow. Unless you can't have broccoli, because some people can't have broccoli. But yeah, so yeah, it just feels like we're, like, don't no. And I can't do the actual sound, but that's kind of what this feels like right now. And sugar gets me even when I'm full. Yeah. I might not have one of these cookies. I don't know if I should share. I ate. I was so happy that I didn't overeat, and I was going to come downstairs to get one of these cookies, and then I got sidetracked with if you can call this research, and here we are. It's midnight, and I haven't had one of these cookies, and I might not have any. I did have a coconut, one of those too good to be true, unreal coconut little bars. But yeah, no broccoli, bad for my gut. Yeah. I think it's bad for me too. I know I struggle with fiber and broccoli, cauliflower, the cruciferous family. I can't do Brussels sprouts. I cannot do them. Oh my gosh, that's too much. But I think I've eaten broccoli for so long and I loved it when we came here. Even though I think it's European, When yeah, it is because I was looking for like FODMAP foods. I mean, I wasn't looking, but I was watching that Fit Food Selma or whatever YouTuber, and then I looked up broccoli is FODMAP. So broccoli and broccolini, the crown of the broccoli is not, but the stalk is, or something like that, and the broccolini is like reversed, like the crown is, but the stalk isn't, or something like that. I'm like, wow, science in human bodies. And then I just recently, I want to try this. I saw this ad for an app that like through sound and helps the brain connect to the gut to like fix the connection between these two organs, so it actually goes to the root cause of IBS and things like that. So I'm like, well, might as well try it. I mean, I don't know, unless you get hypnotized for something. I don't know. But yeah, it's yeah, I loved it when I was young. Now it's not good for my gut. It makes my stomach bloat hard. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I know I think you were saying that you take probiotics, or that, you have to, yeah. I'm on a quest. Like, I don't give up easily. It's a bad trait and also a good trait, but I just fail, or I don't want to admit defeat. I fail at doing that when it comes to my gut. I've had it's been such a tough journey with my whole digestive system. It started with my stomach because I had H. pylori, and then I this is my belief. I don't have like exact confirmation, but before we knew about probiotics and gut health and all that stuff, I took a bunch of antibiotics for the H. pylori, and then the reason I believe this is the way that it went for me was, and also I'm not a doctor, this is just my personal experience, is because after that I never had like lower like gut issues and stuff. I then developed, like, it switched, like literally in a couple of like months or like a couple of years. I still had acid reflux and everything, but I started having lower gut issues more and more and more, and it's almost like it reversed, like it just kind of flipped, like I have more gut issues than that. So I've tried probiotics, all sorts of probiotics, not very well. I must admit that. I've not done elimination diet really, except for the Candida diet at one point, and I did feel better. And I remember, like, oh my gosh, I remember being on the Candida diet just for like 2 weeks. I think it was in the second week, where you eat literally no carbs, like not keto, like it's worse than keto. And I remember ingesting like corner of a saltine, and I bloated so much. I would not suggest Candida diet, honestly. I don't know that I think it's like a lot of things a band-aid, especially if it's not supervised and administered by someone who really knows it. And elimination diets and all that stuff. It's yeah, but I don't believe in that. I believe those are helpful, but they're band-aids, and I'm so tenacious, I think is the word. I'm so determined to get to the root cause for me, get to the root cause and fix that root cause, and not just put band-aids, not just like not eat certain foods, or not do that, or not do this. Because also there is a scientific paper somewhere, I forget, that I read like years ago, where it says like if you start the elimination diet, like your body will adapt and adapt and adapt, and soon you won't be able to eat anything, or this happened. And so it's like it's a journey. Me too. Fasting is good, helps me. Yeah. Prebiotics. Yeah, I need to like also think more about the prebiotics, not just the probiotics. Yeah. Let me know. Again, I know you're not a doctor, I'm not a doctor, so for anyone else too. Like, but let me know. I'm curious if you want to share what like brand of probiotics you take, or prebiotics, or both. Because I've not found any that like really work. But yeah, my Viome thing is coming, so I'll have them. But I'm curious. Um, can you hear me? Maybe. Yeah, I was saying that, well, I should just do this then if this works. That's so interesting. Yeah, wow. Can you hear me just as good or different, worse? I don't know. All I was saying was that, like, bacon, the things that we have, like, why is it that there's only one bacon without sugar? You don't need sugar in bacon. Also, sugar with fat is what causes cholesterol, not just fat. If you just eat cholesterol or fat, like, yes, but literally the way that the liver synthesizes things, like, it's the sugar that causes the cholesterol and, like, all that stuff. So, okay, good. Yeah, I'll just do this from now on then. But yeah, anyways, besides the point, I'm just saying, like, I don't understand why we have the things that we have in food, and that I'm pretty sure that's why we have the issues that we have. Largely, they existed before too. But the fact that things are on the rise, I don't think, yeah. And also because IBS is kind of like brain and gut kind of connection, it might be a lot with the way that we're having chronic stress without realizing it. And if you've noticed, I noticed this, but I love psychology. But in the last years, we've had commercials for things to add on top of antidepressants. And those things, those other drugs, they give like really bad side effects, which then you can, like, tardive dyskinesia or whatever, which then you take another drug on top of that one. And I remember, because, like, it just, for me, it was so logical. Like, if you're taking an antidepressant or something on top of the antidepressant to make the antidepressant work, and your brain is literally having what almost feels like seizures, like you can't control, like, just random movements in your face or something like that. In what world are we then adding more drugs on top of that? That made no sense to me. I cannot believe that. I haven't seen one of those commercials in a bit, but I'm not sure that it's gone away. I could not believe that's what we're doing, instead of facing what is causing the chronic stress or the depression. I could not believe that. We're literally just, like, ignoring the problem and just, like, stuffing ourselves to just work and whatever, and like not question anything or whatever, and just like live no life, and then life is over. Like yeah. So sorry, I'm like going off on a tangent, but yeah, IBS and gut issues and broccoli. Yeah, I haven't noticed that with broccoli for me, but that would be a sad day because I love broccoli. But I can relate, I understand, so no broccoli. I'll get one food one day that'll be like, healthy and also like gut friendly for you, Maria, and just everything. Maybe I'll do like, I was thinking of doing this, like a different food every day or every live. Yeah, sometimes, some days my stomach is flat and most days I'm on spring. Yeah, I'm so, yeah, bread for me. Absolutely. Bread, 100%. I literally, like, my mom would say, like, oh my gosh, you've gained so much weight. I'm like, no, I just ate bread. I'm like, just watch. If I don't eat bread for, like, not the next day necessarily, but even the next day, but the day after that, yeah, I don't have a flat stomach, but, because I'm overweight right now. But yeah, it's even more. Like, it goes 3 times as big. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's me. That's like bread. But yeah, I think again, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe a combination of the elimination diet. I've always wanted to do that, like, leaky gut thing. Actually, one doctor, like actual doctor, recommended that to me. I was like, whoa, it's actually infiltrating the medical system. It's actually like doctors now actually critically think instead of just, be robots or whatever. But yeah, wow, that sounded like such a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not that. But I've had so many digestive issues, and then a lot of issues with the medical system. Like now doing this stupid physical therapy that is not actual physical therapy. They just so many times have failed at doing their job that it might sound like conspiracy theory. It's just like I've had a lot of experience. I've gone through a lot of doctors of all sorts of different things because I don't give up, because I really wanted it to work. I would not sit on issues. I would not sit like, oh, I feel this, or I would also be very in touch with my body. So I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this, go to the doctor. So, yeah, like that's where I'm coming from. Not to you, Mari. I'm just saying to anyone like that's watching, that's like, oh, really thin bread. What's that? That doesn't help. Wait, what did I say? What's that? What did I say that you're asking that for? I think I have to test this. I'll have to test it. But I think there's this one bread at Whole Foods. It's in a pack and you kind of, the doctor. What doctor was I talking about? Physical therapy? No. Oh, what doctor recommended the leaky gut diet? Oh, the leaky gut diet. Or like protocol. It's not really, I mean, yeah. But yeah, as far as the bread, hold on. So Whole Foods, there's this bread made in France, and it has, because the other thing, like try to see if bread that isn't enriched flour bread helps. But yeah, and of course non-GMO. Literally an allergy doctor at the Cleveland Clinic, which is a pretty big, I think you guys have it in Florida too. Pretty big, hospital entity, at least here. He said that like the people who made the GMOs are, I forget the company, will not allow Cleveland Clinic or other medical institutions to study to take a look at those like cells or whatever. So I was like, whoa. Yep, that for me, honestly, that was the last straw on GMOs. Before I was like, coming and going, whatever. But when he said that, again, an allergy doctor that said, also reiterated something that just a random, a couple of random people told me that, people who have gluten allergy here, they go to Europe and they don't have anything. And it's like the GMO stuff and maybe other things that are in it. I had my previous boss was talking about enriched flour as far as folic acid. That's really, really bad in that to have that all the time unless you're, pregnant or whatever, or like in that way. So yeah, it's like, but that's the thing. We don't know. How can we know? We're not all biologists. We are not all scientists. We are not all doctors. We don't know what should or should not be in the food. And how many times do we actually read the labels? We often, like, I always kind of read the label, but my mom, like, she would just look at the sugar content, like in the graph little thing in the chart, not in the ingredients. I'm like, yes, it has 0 grams of sugar, but then it has sugar in it. Like, it is an ingredient. And yeah, so like, and I like in Europe, I think they do this more. They put like the single serving and the whole package serving. Sometimes they do it here too, but because then, it's more noticeable if something is like, less for servings. And yeah, but the leaky gut protocol or diet or whatever is basically when, this is such a layman term. Like, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, to correctly describe this, I think, but my understanding is that your gut is, your like intestines are in, either it's autoimmune driven or it said that it actually is the reason we have autoimmune or autoimmune issues a lot of the time, because something like you're sensitive to, or you have an allergy to something, but you don't know that you're allergic to that. And so you keep feeding it because it's just like a small enough allergy that you're not noticing it at first. Or say like, oh, it's just discomfort, whatever. And then you're stressing the intestines, and then there's like videos out there, like the little like intestinal little things, tentacles or whatever, not tentacles, but the little fibers, the hairs, whatever. Basically like the gut wall starts separating enough for like food molecules to go through into the bloodstream, and therefore you develop sensitivities and allergies because of that. And so it's like the diet or protocol itself is, I think, like you eliminate almost everything, and then like there's a method to how you reintroduce things, and probiotics is basically like, you go on like a soup diet or whatever, and then you introduce like fermented like sauerkraut, but the correct sauerkraut, not the sauerkraut that has like garlic or anything else, spices, or it's just water, salt, and cabbage, and it ferments. That's like the probiotics. And then you like it, I don't know, but it tells you, it's really specific to how to introduce things. And then I remember like you even tested it on your skin maybe to see like if you can try to ingest something, and you go like every 2 weeks or so you add something new. And if you still have some reaction to it, if you get bloating or something, then you put that off again. So, but it's basically like allowing when you're eating in that first, I forget if it's like 2 or 4 weeks, I think it's 4 weeks at first to like really heal. So you're on these specific foods, which is mainly soup and stuff, where you like bone broth, where you heal. You allow your system to heal because it's not constantly exposed to the things that stress it. And then you introduce things when your body is more like robust, like your gut is like, okay, we're ready, we have defense now. And then that basically is kind of the healing of IBS and other things, because if you do it right, and I don't know what that is, like ideally you find a doctor that knows how to do this and can advise you, but if you do it right, then you rebuild the strength and you can eat anything after that. And so yeah, but I don't, yeah, except for like things like I would say like processed things like GMOs maybe, or corn syrup. Corn syrup, I think, like, why? And maybe corn syrup because it's like from GMO corn, I don't know, but like, why? I saw something like a yogurt or something, no, ice cream, like they have corn syrup, like why? Just put sugar in it. Sugar is bad enough, but at least we've evolved eating sugar. I don't know. I read the labels, but a little sugar is my weakness. Yeah, not to be gross. When I get a colonoscopy, they give you that drink. My stomach feels. Yes, yeah, that's how I felt on the Candida diet, because I basically had nothing in my system, in my gut. Yeah. So talk to your doctor about leaky gut protocol or diet or whatever, something like that. I hate when I have to eat because I still don't know what triggers it. Yeah. Oh, I feel so bad. I know exactly what you feel like. I know exactly what that feels like. I'm so sorry. But yeah, look that up, but definitely talk to your doctor, and hopefully they'll know and can guide you and like help you through that. It's because it's basically like elimination diet, but with a methodology to it, and just healing yourself. So yeah. Well, I actually enjoyed that. That feels a lot better now that it was not just reading a legal document. I really don't like reading these. Part of me does, and part of me is like, this is so boring. And none of us really know what's going on a lot of the times, unless it's something sensational. Yeah, I do hope there's a trial. I know it's stressful for all the parties, and part of me like doesn't wish for that stress on them, especially like Justin, of course, and his family, and Jamey Heath and all that. But like, it's so much more easy to digest than these court filings and documents. My headache went away. Oh, yay. Yeah. If I would be really good at this, I would just read it and I would have highlights and I would just like kind of break it down. But the reason that I didn't want to do that when I started this, and why I almost don't want to do that now, is because I believe that, I don't know, it just kind of got to me when I saw TMZ say, we read it so you didn't have to. And then I started thinking, like, that is a way to potentially manipulate your audience. Or even if you're not trying to manipulate, like, you don't know what they'll understand from the limited information that you give. And I know that I love when I'm, like, I like the two lawyers and that they go and explain things. But that's why I love Lauren, because she literally reads all of it. And sometimes even she understands maybe things that I would not, and her reaction to it like makes me understand it. So things like that I felt like were more needed, and that's why I started reading these word for word. And because having ADHD and I hated reading my whole life, and I've stayed away from reading, it was easier to read it with you guys and to do it here live. But now it's not that much easier. And like I said, I think a lot of these are all good and dandy, but it's like, it's not something that we don't need to read because it still provides like maybe, you know, different internet sleuths, as we, I guess, call it now, might read something like, wait, I remember seeing this person saying this in this, you know, interview or whatever. So I think it's important, but at the end of the day, it's really, it's their fight. Yeah, like, and we have to trust that they're capable. And I mean, if Brian Friedman's not capable, I don't know who is, because he's so infamous in these kind of cases. So as, you know, someone who does a really good job at finding anything out and, you know, presenting things and winning. So, yeah. I'll see you guys on Friday though, or tomorrow. I don't know why I keep saying that, because you never know, but most likely just Friday night. And hopefully I'll have like some fun topics and not just like legalities and politics and all the stuff that we talked about today. Yeah. So thank you for being here though. Thank you for, what do you call it? Sticking it out with me. And yeah, I have some exciting, I was like kind of brainstorming like how do I kind of make this channel more my own, because you know, this whole Blake Lively stuff, good night, yeah, is like all fine and stuff, but it's not my life passion, and it's at one point going to end anyways. And also I'm over having it only be about that. I've really enjoyed like having conversations about gut health or whatever. And yeah, I have some exciting possible like ways to like, you know, I don't know, make some not changes, but you know, do some more things here. I don't know. Thank you. I appreciate that, Maria. So, but I want to like kind of like, I'm not completely, you know, settled into this channel, but I think I feel a lot more like, oh, I found a little groove. I found a little groove of mine. Sometimes I would watch my stuff. That's, I feel like that's like my definition of success, is if I like it, you know, because if I think of, well, would someone like it? I mean, there's so many different types of people. There's so many different opinions and preferences. So, like, if I could sit through me talking, then it's like a good start. But it's not, you know, there's always like changes to like make it better or whatever. So, yeah, I'll find my niche, hopefully. Yeah. So I'm excited. It's that like really awesome place where you're like, the world is your oyster. And I wish that I was already, you know, the pearl, but right now we're just at oyster level. I mean, it's been quite a few years, but yeah, we'll see. They say just stick through it. I didn't really stick through it. I came and went. Thank you. But I do want to do like more, you know, to do more. I don't know, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Like, you guys, and you know, Maria, we're the ones talking mainly right now, but like, you have no idea how much that means to me and how like helpful that is. And it's something that I discovered in my later years in life, where, you know, coming from like Eastern European culture, the idea of tough love kind of, even though my family is not that tough love, but that kind of idea was more common in school, especially and stuff. And I've definitely discovered through my help with psychology, but also just on my own personal sense and like seeing, oh, what helps me do my best. And it's usually love. It's usually like encouragement or support or people believing in me or me believing in me, etc. If I hate myself or other people like hate me or put me down, like kind of like, I'm talking in terms of like things like boot camp, fitness boot camps, where they're just like, come on, like you're a loser if you can't finish this lap or whatever. No. You're not going to get the best of me. Even if I'm not rebellious, even if I'm not in my rebellious state, it just makes me feel bad about myself and like a failure. So why even try? Like I fail anyways, right? So things like that is what I also hope to like give back as well. So yeah, we just need to find the right people. Like your channel came to me. Yeah, that's kind of a lot of what I'm talking about is like finding the things that I am passionate about. Because like Monday, even though I was watching it back, I'm like, I don't know that it translated, but I felt like we all kind of said like, oh my gosh, this was so fun. And I felt that passion that, as much as I've loved these lives, like rarely there's that moment like, oh my gosh, that was so exciting. That was so fun. And like that's how I want it to feel for everyone or everyone watching and for me too. Yes, yeah, algorithm is a battle. So yeah, a lot of what I'm working on is like trying to figure out how to best describe me. So I need to find who me is and who this channel is, and then how to translate it. Like here, YouTube, these are the people that would enjoy this channel. And that's really hard. It's really hard. It's like double-edged sword or whatever, because like I would really need someone that's like good at that. I would really need to hire someone to help me with that. I'm not good at that. Despite the erroneous looking marketing credentials that I have, I'm not really good at marketing. I'm terrible at marketing. But I also sometimes just like, well, I'll just be here. I'll be here with you guys. I'll be here for you guys. And, yeah, maybe it'll just be like, oh, people, trickle in or whatever. And maybe like kind of like how the Blake Lively thing happened. Maybe something else will happen. And that I'll be like, oh my gosh, really want to talk about this. And then like other people find me. So yeah, we'll see. But I appreciate you guys being here. And like I really love like when we have our side conversations, because I mean sometimes that's like the best stuff. So yeah, thank you. And thank you for helping me through my imposter syndrome. And I hope I can repay the favor anytime. All right. Oh, and then no, that's it. I'll talk more about what came to my mind on Friday. And that's not like a teaser on purpose. It's just like my brain's a little like I don't trust my brain for this information to come out properly. And I'll have more information on Friday. But anyways, have a wonderful night. Thank you. It was so awesome. It was just me and you, Maria, for most of this. It was so awesome. And yeah, it is written down. It's in my like to-do list. I just need to like remember it, which I will. I'll do that as soon as I log off. But yeah, I hope you feel better with the stuff. I'm curious if your doctor will know that. Some doctors know, sometimes no. DO doctors seem to know a little bit more and be connected more with like new research and new things that come up. So yeah, cool. But yeah, I'll see you on Friday. Peace, love, and compassion, y'all. It seems like the storm is not like very strong. So yeah, I don't know, for whatever that was, no one cares on that one. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Good, thank you. And you're welcome, and good luck, and I'll see you Friday. Bye.